How's it going, everyone? Holy crud. Whew. Been a while, huh? I know we did a random cooking stream the other day, but how long has it been since we did a traditional live stream on this channel? And I'm not talking about the Super Mario Maker direct live stream. Let me glance here. How long has it been? It feels like it's been like another week. Let's see here. I did the cooking and board one yesterday. I don't count that. Mario Maker 3 days ago. So 5 days ago, we did an MP Live. Man. It's been a long time. So how you guys doing? For starters, I'm about to cry. I looked at my YouTube stats for the first time in a long time. Probably in the first time in a few weeks. And guys, look at this. Look. Is it going to show? Look, come on. Focus. Of course it's not going to focus. Basically, we have had just under 100,000 views over the last 30 days, which, I mean, I've been making less videos, so that's whatever. I have lost 150 subscribers in total in terms of my net loss. So regardless of new subscribers, I've lost 141 or 150 or something. And my estimated revenue has dropped from around 800 to down to 300. So, you want to talk about sinking YouTube careers. Now, my career is not sinking like, a certain Pro Jared or a certain James Charles, of course. But they're starting at much higher points than I was, and I obviously didn't do nearly anything as controversial. All I did was decide that I'm not going to be a full-time YouTuber. But life happens, right? It's all good. I'm not actually sad about it all. It is what it is. We'll bounce back. We got E3 coming up, and that's always a big time at this channel. At E3, we have all this coverage coming. Still going to have videos coming out. They're just not as frequent as you guys might be used to, but it's whatever. Let's get into who's here and say hi to everyone. Jack Carver, how's it going? BJ Holloman, Johnny Hernandez, Flying Dead L, Bead Queen is here, Mac Main, Braden Allen Network, Johnny Hernandez. I think I already said your name, whatever. You got it said twice. Congratulations. FSD FSFF is here. Let's see here. YXBA is here. Welcome. I haven't seen you at a stream in a while. Welcome. Let's see here. Scrolling on down. Sonic Man, the best is here. Illuma Donkey Kong is here. Corey Bohm is here. He actually had a question. He says, can we get more primetime cooking? Probably not. I was just literally bored at that time. I had spent all day cleaning and fixing things in the house, and then everyone left, and I was by myself, and I got kind of bored. So I'm like, hey, I might as well chit chat with you guys while I was cooking some dinner. 7 billion views, the entire world. ER is here. D-Dub is here. Hey, Nate, you keep streaming during Spawncast, and I keep missing it. Well, it just so happens that Saturday nights, I frequently find that my fiance is hanging out with some family on Saturday nights, leaving my Saturday nights open to stream. So it is what it is. I am not part of the Spawncast, even though I've guested on it twice. Once last year, once this year. Don't know if and when I'd be invited to guest on again. It's life. Don't really care. I love talking about video games, and I got my own channel to be doing stuff at, so it's all good. Whatever you don't go on, wherever don't go on shockgore.com. That doesn't sound like a good time. Let me see here. Who else is here? My entire chat just jumped. Trax Zero is here. Let's see. MacMain put up a link. Oh, about the Pro Jared situation. It's okay. We don't need to sit here and spend a bunch of time talking about Pro Jared. Piplup the Penguin. What? Coming up with the eyes and the nose. Welcome, man. Dynamic Kirby is here. Says at work, but he can't stay. Just want to say, what's up? What's up, man? Hope you're having a lovely time at work. Let's see here. Sweet Life of Dio Brando is here. And I think the Flying Dead L, I think I already said hi. So I think that's everyone who's presently here. Oh, Philip. How's it going? Check out my Twitch bros. Stitched_sketch is watching us over on Twitch. He says, what's Spawncast? Well, Spawncast, I mean, I don't want to sit here and keep advertising someone else's stuff, but Spawncast is a live-streamed video game podcast on the channel Spawnwave on YouTube that gathers up a whole bunch of different gaming YouTubers, personalities, talking heads, usually at least 5, oftentimes 8, just whatever, special guest, all that stuff. And they talk about video game stuff. It's a video game podcast. They stream for 2 hours from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And yeah, that on Saturday nights, and then it's live streamed, and then it goes up for patrons, and then a week later he puts up the episode live for everyone else. But I mean, it's live streamed, but like being able to watch it after the fact. And there's a bunch of good people like Player Essence on there, Dreamcast Guy, RGT85. Those are kind of some of the big regulars there. You have Nate from Direct Feed Games there as well. So they have a bunch of people that I enjoy speaking with and talking to and get along with, but. I honestly don't care. I got my own podcast and my own stuff to worry about. And if they invite me on, hey, I'll gladly accept any invitations. I got nothing against any of those people, but I'm obviously not in the clique. I mean, to give you guys an idea, like there's people that think like Player Essence and me are like tight and everything. I haven't talked to Player Essence in months. I didn't talk to him after I lost my job on January 1st. I didn't. There's been a couple Twitter exchanges just randomly, but like in terms of hitting them up in DMs and chatting, like I have not talked to Player Essence in forever. So I mean, it's not like we're super tight, and that's probably the one person out of that entire group that I've talked to the most. So I mean, I wouldn't really call myself friends with a bunch of people that I really don't know. So I know a lot of people try to compare my channel to that group, and it's like I'm not part of that group, so I don't really care. I'm just gonna do what I do and hope people want to tune in. And as of the past month, less and less people want to tune in, and that's life. All I can do is create the content that I'm passionate about and hope that there's still someone here at the end of it all. Now, that being said, let me just check out what some people in the chat are saying here. What we got going on here? Corey Bohm says, are you playing the Tetris 99 tourneys this weekend? No, I am not. Also, Raps in 7. Raptors might be swept. So, remember, you were calling for a Raptors sweep, but what you really meant was that the Raptors were going to be the ones being swept, right? That's what you meant, Corey. Will I be getting Tetris? I have Tetris 99. Am I going to spend the $10 on the bonus content in Tetris 99? Absolutely not. Because my feeling is, if Tetris 99 was supposed to be a free game with the Nintendo Switch Online service, now why do I have to pay for the rest of the content for that game when I already paid for the online service? It's not really a free game for the online service if now they have content for that game that you have to spend extra money on. I'm not saying that the game itself isn't worth $10. Of course it is. But it's part of the online service. Anyways. Let's see here. No, what do you else you guys saying? We need Borderlands 3 on Switch. It would be nice. The person running that company hasn't exactly been in the news for the right reasons. But that doesn't mean that the game itself isn't great and shouldn't be on Switch. I would love to see any of the Borderlands games on Switch. Flying Dead L says, what Smash character do you want to be revealed at E3? Banjo-Kazooie, and that's the only one I really care about. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not sure what character they could announce that would excite me beyond Banjo-Kazooie or Conker. Are they likely? No. Phil Spencer has talked about how, hey, he wants them in there. So it's not really Microsoft that's preventing it from happening. It's just Nintendo. They want to pay the royalty fees, blah, blah, blah. For anyone wondering what shirt I'm wearing, I saw someone say something. This is Ninjala. This is my shirt that I won at last year's E3. So sweet, although it does not look like Ninjala is going to be at E3 this year. Game still isn't out. I don't know what you're doing, Gung-Ho. Get Ninjala out. Switch exclusive. Come on. Let's see. Jack Carver's here. How's it going? Graphics that don't matter. Games do is here. Why are there so many dislikes? Who knows? There's 9 dislikes. 9 dislikes. Man, people are just hating on me this month. That's all right. It's all good. I am who I am, and you don't have to be here. Let's see here. XYXBA Player is one of the least substantive Nintendo-based YouTubers. I mean, that's obviously your opinion. I will say that, and OJ, by the way, if you're watching, this I don't mean to insult you or anything. Yeah, you had a recent video that got like 11,000 views about like this is huge for the future of Switch and Nintendo or whatever the title was. And I watched the entire video and I got to the end and I still don't know what was huge. Like, you talk about how, the sales of Switch, could lead to some potential for the Switch 2 to have more third-party support, and that's great. But is that all? Is that all? Like a completely speculative point? And it took you 11 minutes to say. I mean, and I'm not someone to say like, the videos don't get drugged out here and I don't ramble and this and that. I just, and I've had some videos that where my point wasn't exactly coming across well. So what I'm kind of saying is I don't know if that supports your thought process that he's not very substantive, but that was one of his videos like that I've watched recently because I don't watch a lot of his videos, and I was kind of like, really? Like, I don't know, man. It's got a lot of views and a 93% like to dislike ratio. So hell, what the hell do I know, right? Like, obviously people are liking the video, so it's okay. I'm sure I'm just earning myself more and more dislikes on this video. All right, let's see here. Scrolling down, what else you guys saying here? Do you think they will show the Switch Mini? Like at Nintendo, they stuff, and then I turn out they love playing with our hearts. Hey, Stupid Brothers, how's it going? What a weird name. Could they show the Switch Mini? Like, even though they say Switch hardware only at E3, could they show off the Mini or the Pro? They could. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to let Microsoft do their thing and then announce the Switch Pro and Switch Mini later. I would love for them to announce it at E3 since I'll be there, because then I could see it in person. But it's just one of those things that I'm not expecting. So, go Bucks! That's right, go Bucks, baby. 6 more wins to go for the championship. Let's go. Why do I have to type in 2 letters for @ to work? Because I think usernames have to be at least 2 or 3 letters long, if I remember right. I'm like, I can't remember what the limitations were on YouTube usernames. But I think it had to be at least 2. There's only one person that starts with N at the moment. Yeah, I understand that. Jack Carter, let's see here. Games that don't matter. My problems with the Spawncast are, 1, the YouTubers are always the same. I mean, you could argue that that's the problem with the Nintendo Prime podcast, is that, like, me and Eric are always the same. Like, I don't think having the same YouTubers is really a problem. It's a podcast, right? Like, you have a regular crew of people that are on your podcast. That's pretty normal for every podcast in the entire world. Now, if you're talking about like a radio type show podcast, that's different, because a radio show is all about bringing in special guests, every single hour. But when you're talking about a podcast, I mean, yeah, the regular hosts are the regular hosts. Like, that's who it is. I understand that you don't like Player Essence based on the rest of your comment, but that's obviously just a personal thing. Again, I have nothing against Player Essence. Him and I have had debates in the past. Him and I have had times where we kind of spat a little bit. We've had times where we get along great. It is what it is, man. I think he's just another person out there that loves Nintendo and does a good job of spreading the love of Nintendo. Or his love of Nintendo, anyway. So I got no real issues with him in general. I know he can get a little combative at times. I know he's quick to the ban hammers on all that jazz. But that's who he is. Everyone's different, so I'm not gonna really hate someone because of that. But I mean, I understand if it's not your cup of tea. I mean, I'm not a lot of people's cup of tea based on my dislike ratio on this stream, based on me losing hundreds and hundreds of subscribers over the past few months. I'm clearly not producing content that people are enjoying, but what are you gonna do? Let's see here. Do you think slag is a bad word? I don't even know what slag is. I've never even heard that word before, so I might have just said a really bad word, and I have no idea. So at least I can claim that I'm just uneducated on that term. I hope Rockstar gives us Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Ho! Do I have some news for you? It's not really news. Well, I mean, you could argue it's news, but, I mean, no one's going to believe little old me. I have heard from some trusted little birdies out there that Red Dead Redemption 2 is running on Nintendo Switches on dev kits. And these are little birdies that I trust and verify who they are. So, these little birdies are telling me that Red Dead Redemption 2 is running on Nintendo Switch dev kits. Does not mean that Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually going to release on Switch, just that they actually spent a little bit of time to see if it could run on Switch, and they were able to get it to run on Switch. Running on Switch is not the same as it can be playable. it'll ever release it, that they did anything other than just toss the code on Switch just to see what happens. But it is something that they at least had a fleeting thought of throwing at Nintendo Switch. So it is what it is. I don't, I'm not saying go out and make all your YouTube videos and your stories and use me as a source that Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to Switch. Not what I'm saying. Because not even my sources are saying it's coming to Switch. They're saying that, interestingly enough, that game has been played around with on Switch by developers. So, let's see here. Well, Nate, it's consistency that's the most important thing in building your viewer base. What was that, Philip? Was that Philip who said that? Sorry, my chat is jumping. You know what? I'm going to pop out this chat. It is just jumping all over the place. I usually don't have this kind of problem with the chat. This is really bad. It jumps every now and then, but never this much. All right, here we go. Philip says, well, Nate, it's consistency, I think is what you meant to say, because some typos in there. That's the most important thing to building a viewer base, and well, lately, so of course their viewers are dropping. Here's the thing. The viewer count on the channel is what it is, right? Like, I am not surprised that I'm in the midst of my lowest viewership month of my channel in its entire history. That is not surprising to me, and it's not something that I'm shocked about or even upset about. When you produce less content, you obviously have less viewership. Like, that's just the way it is. And even on YouTube, when you produce less content, not only do you end up with less viewership overall on your channel just because there's less videos to watch, the videos you do release tend to get less views. So, because YouTube's algorithm just ends up hating you because you're being inconsistent or whatever, and then you end up not getting a lot of views. So that's one thing, but that's viewership. In terms of subscriber counts have nothing to do with how many videos you put out. In terms of losing subscribers, there are multiple factors that can come into play. YouTube could be purging subscribers. So people might not actually be unsubbing. YouTube could just be getting rid of older subscribers that are no longer active accounts. And since I'm not gaining subscribers at my normal rate, it turns into a big net loss. And that's probably what's actually happening. I haven't seen a whole lot of trends here that say, oh, you're going to, that people are hating your content. I think the trend is more so because I'm producing less content, I'm gaining less new subscribers to counterbalance the typical monthly YouTube purge, where the YouTube purges 200 to 300 dead accounts from my channel every single month, and I'm not gaining more than 200 or 300. I'm not even gaining more than 50 new subscribers a month right now. So that's life, It'll turn around in June. That E3 content always kills it, so we're gonna have a big month in June. But as for now, there's not a whole lot I can do. Just keep making the content I'm passionate about, and who knows? Maybe something will go viral again. I don't know. Maybe something won't. I don't really care. I don't make my content to go viral. I make the content I want to make. Hope enough people want to watch or care, and if they don't, it's whatever. After E3, I'll be having a different full-time job anyways. I'll still be doing YouTube. It's just, it's no longer something that I look at as, oh my gosh, my channel needs to be pushing viewership, needs to be pushing this, needs to be pushing that. I need to be gaining 1,000 new subs a month, because if I don't do all of that, my channel's not successful. Like, that. It is what it is. We're still doing the giveaway. I still want to get to 50,000 subs. I don't think getting to 50,000 subs in 2019 is unreasonable. So we'll get there eventually. I'd like to get there this summer, but heck, I'd like to get there tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe someone out there can give me a shout out. Hey, Philip DeFranco, put me as the secret link of the day. I don't know what you're going to link to. I don't know what's interesting enough on my channel for a channel like him to link to, because I don't really do a ton of OG content, unless he happens to just like my opinions on things. Let's see here. Nice shirt. Thank you, Ninjala. Let me see. A ratio of 15 to 9 is nearly a third. Yeah. I don't know. Did the ratio change now? Is the ratio now 34-0? Did all the dislikes go away? Were people disliking just to be ironic? Because now I see 34 likes and 0 dislikes. You know what's funny about the likes and the dislikes? I need to push them more on the videos I do put out. Because if you guys drop likes or even dislikes on a video, that's considered an interaction by YouTube. And YouTube cares a lot about interaction. So dropping comments and dropping likes and dislikes is what's going to actually get my videos sent out to more of the people who are subscribed. to my channel. So it's dumb, right? But that's the YouTube algorithm, and I don't push it enough. Let's see here. Bead Queen is here. Welcome. Trax Zero is here. Nate, are you okay? Is there something wrong? We're all here to cheer you up. Nah, nothing wrong, man. I'm doing all right. You know, life is honestly, life is pretty good. You know, it's as good as it can be until I get my new full-time gig after E3. You know, money's tight as always, but whatever. Everyone's got their own financial issues, their own issues in life. I'm not here to complain about anything. It's just life is life. I meant to mention, I forgot to add this into the text here. I am doing cap shots for all super chats and donations tonight, and I totally forgot to add that to the Nintendo Music stuff up there. Man, I really gotta fix my labels on these things. What are? There's the label. All right, properties. So let me get here. Let me see. All C's and donations. All right, that's taken care of. And just cap shots because my shot glasses are actually packed up right now. All right, let's see here. Scrolling down, graphics don't matter. It says at Nintendo Prime, where are good YouTubers? Where are Arlo, Shy Guy, you, the Quartering, BitBlock? Most of them are the same, and guests aren't very good. Oh, are you talking about on Spawncast? I mean, I don't think they'd ever have the BitBlock on, just because of some controversial things Josh Thomas sometimes says. I think that is something that they probably don't want to avoid. Heck, maybe that's why they avoid me, because I've been a little. I'll admit, 2019 has been a little dramatic, way more dramatic than this channel or myself as someone who's turning 33 this year ever should be on the internet, and I know better. I've been doing this internet thing for like 15 years. I know. Okay, I know that I've been a little, I'm going to say a little, very immature this year, especially publicly on YouTube and in live streams. So there's a point where it's okay to not necessarily act your age. I don't believe in acting your age, but I do believe that there are some things that I got too personal about. There's some other things that I kind of raked over the coals, like my finances, and like none of this stuff is really anyone's business but mine. So that being said, there are some things that BitBlock has said that's even worse than all of that, and that I can see why he might not get invited for that. The Quartering, again, the Quartering's kind of a love or hate guy in terms of YouTube, so I'm sure there's some people on the cast that wouldn't be comfortable with the Quartering. Arlo, I think Arlo's actually been on a Spawncast before. Shy Guy, I don't know why they don't invite Shy Guy. And again, this isn't me saying that John, from Spawn Wave has a problem with me. I wouldn't know. I've only talked to him during the 2 podcasts. Like, we literally have no contact outside of the 2 times I've been on. So, do you think they will show Switch Mini, like at Nintendo and stuff? And then I turn out they love playing with our hearts. I don't know. Who knows? I don't think the Switch Mini is going to be at E3 though. Let's see here. I expect E3 2019. Nintendo's going to get big games. Okay. Philip says, yeah, OJ does that sometimes, makes a title, and ends up so off topic due to his side ranting stuff. And that, I do the same thing. Like, when I talked about that video OJ did, like, it is what it is. I do the same thing sometimes, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and kill him for it. It's just the first video of his I've watched in a while, as I've been spending more time away from the computer and the internet, and I just, I was kind of like, oh, man, I didn't really get anything out of that video that, I'm not saying he clickbaited me, because I guess I could see maybe what he was trying to do with that video. Just for me personally, it didn't really click with me. And then it had like this super high, like the dislike ratio and tons of views. And I'm like, well, you know what? He knows what he's doing because he's getting lots of views on stuff like that. And I can't get views on anything. So that's just life. Good thing I'm not really worrying about views anymore, huh? Mark Christensen, welcome to the stream set, man. How you doing? BJ Holloman here as well. Will Bayonetta come out this fall? I don't think so. Bayonetta will be out when it's out, and I think it's 2020 at the earliest. Remember, we haven't even seen gameplay or anything for that. I wonder if Reggie will be at E3. I mean, he might be at E3, but I don't know. Maybe not, because he doesn't want to overshadow Doug Bowser at his first E3. Sonic Man the Best said, "Now, hold up. They said no new hardware would release at the week of E3. They didn't say nothing would be announced. Actually, if you go look at their E3 announcement, they say that the Nintendo Direct itself will be about 2019 Nintendo Switch software only. So they specifically said software, which means, at least during the Direct, they're not talking about hardware. It doesn't mean it can't happen during the Treehouse Live or something, but I would not, guys, if you think the Switch Mini and the Switch Pro or either one of them are going to be shown off at E3, I think if that's the expectation you have, you're going to end up really disappointed. Now, I don't mind being wrong, because then that means that E3 is even more hype. But I would rather, I think you should honestly go in with the expectation you're not seeing any of it, and that all you should expect are games that are already announced. So that's the expectation you should go in with, is all the 2019 games already announced. Which, by the way, if that's not enough to get you hyped for E3, then I question why you're here watching a Nintendo YouTuber when there's so many Nintendo games coming out this year. It's crazy. Let's see here. By the way, new set looks lit. Small suggestion: add wire clips under the desk and route the mic wires. Okay, so the mic wires. We recorded an episode of the podcast, and that's being edited right now. I don't think we're gonna have the mic wires run out of the wire management holes again. Obviously, the wire management holes aren't meant for a set. They're meant for people who actually are gonna, put computer monitors and stuff up there, and then routing the wires down through the desk. That's really what they're meant for. For our purposes, they don't really make a lot of sense. So I don't think we're gonna, right now the wires are still running through them. But I don't think in the future that's going to be the case. I think I'm going to route them underneath the desk like I used to do with the old podcast table where they routed underneath the desk. I'll do it probably here too. I mean, technically, the wires are already routed directly underneath the desk. So the wires already go underneath the desk. So I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. We're also going to be using our laptops more. Since we have so much more desk space, we can both have our laptops, and then we can have extra information on the topics we're talking about in front of us, and not just keep wasting paper by printing off some topics. We can actually have real information or look something up quick if we're trying to make a point. So that's something that I think is going to help improve things. And I also want to start eventually do at least a once per week live news stream, and I'll do it from here as well. But there's some logistics with that I'm still working out, like being able to control the stream from over there instead of over here, because I won't be over here, I'll be over there. And yeah, I have wireless peripherals, but that's still I gotta get a third monitor with a really long cord and run it over there for me to really properly do things. But whatever, we'll figure all that out as we go here. See, Supermodel Dave is here. Welcome, my man. 3 words: Warp Pipe Pass. This is to reserve your spot in line for Nintendo games at E3. Funny thing is, no games have been announced yet for E3 2019 by Nintendo. First time since 2013 they did this. I do think that Warp Pipe Pass, I'm hoping that, it better include Pokemon. I hope you can skip the public line for Pokemon, so you don't have to wait 4.5 hours this year. But I mean, Super Mario Maker 2 is clearly going to be there. It comes out in June. That's about the only game that I know 100% will be playable at E3. I assume Fire Emblem Three Houses that comes out and Marvel Ultimate Alliance, those are July games. I assume they'll be playable at E3 too. After that, who the hell knows? Let's see here. Going back up in the chat. Simon the Best Spawncast blacklist Nintendo Prime for saying... I doubt it. YXBA says, there's so much redundant Nintendo content out there. I don't find that Player Essence really adds something to substance to the dialogue on Nintendo. That's what I mean by, okay, cool. I understand. I don't know that I necessarily add anything substantive to the stuff either. What is notable is you can look at E3 as possibly a reason why there's been less content lately as well, even though I've been cutting back on content. Some of it's not intentional. Like, when you go through an entire day and there's not even one news story that's interesting, it's like, that's one video gone that day. Like, if there was an interesting news story that day, I'd cover it. I mean, what the most interesting news story today is that potentially maybe we might have an idea of when Cadence of Hyrule is coming out, because the Nintendo of America website's been updated, and now it's like in between a game that comes out on May 28th and a game that comes out on May 30th. So it could be coming out on May 29th. It could also be coming out on May 28th. It could also be coming out on May 30th, or it could just end up not coming out in May at all. Even though Nintendo, I think, put out an email that said it comes out in May, they still couldn't give us a date when there's only 2 weeks left. So I honestly think that we're kind of in no man's land with that game. It is what it is. That's why I didn't report on it, because I'm like, what am I going to tell you that we don't know any more information than we already knew? Because we still don't have a date or a new trailer or anything like that. Let's see here. 24 days until E3. I know. I think someone asked earlier and I missed it. When am I leaving for E3? We are leaving my house on the 5th. Then we fly out early morning on the 6th. And I will be in LA on the 6th. And then the 6th is basically a lost day because outside of lunch, we that's badge pickup day. Getting B-roll of all the outside of E3 and all the stuff they have set up. And getting our first real vlog done, and all that jazz, and getting our rental car picked up, checked in the hotel, getting the editing battle station set up that we bring in pieces. Besides that, the next day is kind of our day of rest, and then it really begins. We have EA Play on the 8th that we'll be at. And this is while Nintendo's got all these tournaments going on at the same time. And then on the 9th, that's when the press conferences begin, and I'll be live streaming press conferences, and all that jazz, and still doing daily vlogs and blah blah blah. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's pretty much nonstop once we hit Saturday. Let's see here. The chat is now censored. Censorship is never a good thing. Free speech should always be there. Censorship is one of the reasons why I dislike Player Essence. Okay. Man, a lot of people disliking Player Essence. What about tea? I mean, I'd rather have a Game Fuel. This live stream is brought to you by Game Fuel. Makes your body look like mine. That's what you want. That's why I can't get an energy drink sponsorship on this channel. They look at me and they're like, oh, dude, we don't want people knowing that people like you drink our energy drink. Let's see here. You lagged out for a minute with your hardware disconnect. What? Really? I know I really need to figure out what that is. I hope it's not my capture card for my Switch. I actually wonder if it's my mouse and keyboard, because they are wireless, and I wonder if it's losing connection and then reconnecting. I might have to get a new keyboard and mouse. Whatever. I got to get a few. I mean, heck, I still got to get a new microphone for the dang camera. So, otherwise, that's going to be a crap show. Let's see here. Juice's Loose podcast is so great. No one would want that cast to change. Good chemistry. Okay. When I was creating videos, it would either be based on something nobody else was talking about or take an angle that went deeper than what other channels were doing. See, I don't really base any of my content on what other channels are doing. So it's just whatever I feel like talking about, whatever I want to cover, whatever news that interests me, whatever game I'm reviewing, whatever editorial I'm working on. And by the way, I had an editorial done this week and my computer crashed. It didn't really crash. Windows Update happened. And I didn't stop it in time, and I lost my damn editorial. So I've been trying to rack my brain to rewrite the editorial, because it was a really good one. And now that I'm even thinking right now, I can't even remember what the main topic was, and that's why I hate that it got deleted, because I don't even remember what the title of the damn thing was. If I could just remember the title, then I'd remember what I don't know. I probably should go through my browser history and find out what I was researching for, and then it'll probably help me. Let's see here. Unless I did all the research on you can check your history on your phone, I guess, if I did my research on the phone. Express UK will not claim. Nintendo Prime says he knows Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to Switch. All the articles are putting words into his mouth. Again, I never said it's actually coming to Switch. I just know that it's running on a dev kit. That's got nothing to do with me knowing that it's coming. Let's see here. Man, my chat jumped again. All right, there we go. Illuma Donkey. I like songs like these little birdies are singing. Oh, you're 9 years older than you. I'm 9 years older than you. Okay. Forget what I said about tea. I was being a dumbass for not understanding your cup of tea at first. I'll be okay for the month of June, but I mean, who knows what's gonna happen. I uploaded a video of me streaming the direct. 1 view on Twitch and almost 200 views 3 hours later on YouTube. Nice. Depends on the quality of the content. Gaming historian rarely does a video, but he puts a lot of effort in each video, and it works out well for him. Yep. There's a lot of people like that they put out a video like once every few months. I'll be okay with viewers during E3. The E3 viewership doesn't necessarily have a trickle down effect for months at a time. It's basically you get a bunch of views on your E3 videos and then people don't come back. Let me see here. Been enjoying Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch. Can't wait to see what third-party developers have for us on Switch this E3. What about you? That's from Edward Noy. Man. Third-party developers should have a lot of crazy stuff at E3. I can't wait to see what's going to be there. I don't think it's going to be a ton. It'll be more than prior years, but I think a lot of the games we probably already know about. You know, Doom, Eternal, Wolfenstein Youngblood. I don't know that we're going to see much more than what we already know about. At least not now, because I think a lot of companies are starting to gear up for, I guess for next gen. And I don't think Switch is part of their plans right now. I do think there are going to be some new games. I think Square Enix will have something to announce, Bravely Default or another Octopath Traveler game or something. Ubisoft will probably have something, maybe Mario plus Rabbids 2 or something. I don't know. Ubisoft is the company that's been showing decent support to Switch, so something I'm sure will be announced. So maybe it's a port of Assassin's Creed 4. You know, since we're getting Assassin's Creed 3 remastered, I don't know. Let's see here. Superman Day says, I'm dialing it down on my channel before E3 2019, so I won't be doing a lot of videos until then unless some big news drops before it starts, which could happen. Well, especially rumors. Rumors come out. Rumors for E3 are usually here by now, by the way. Rumor season for E3, that's another thing where I talked about like the calm before the E3 storm. Like, usually by now we have a lot of juicy rumors for E3, and like the only thing that we have right now isn't really even a rumor. It's Sony and Microsoft are teaming up to use the Azure cloud on Sony's side of things for PlayStation. So like that's a really cool, interesting partnership. I don't think anyone saw it coming, but that's not a rumor. That was officially announced. Like we don't really have any big E3 rumors. So nothing yet anyways. But again, there's still time. You know, maybe there's nothing big happening. I think there's been a lot of fear that people are like, oh, there's nothing big happening at E3 because there's no rumors of anything big. I don't know. Give it time. We still have a couple weeks. Through 3 weeks to be exact, something like that. 24 days, I think someone said earlier. I'm not even counting the days down because I count the days down until the 5th when I'm leaving. Let's see here. We need a Discord on the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo have to ditch the phone app. That would be nice, but it's probably not going to happen. Let's see here. Stir-fried boredom. Wasn't exactly a title that piqued my interest yesterday. Not hating, just say. I didn't think people were going to show up for that. Just being honest. I was just bored. Let me see here. Philip, the algorithm doesn't hate you. I'm shocked. This stream still popped up on recommended, even though I was trying to post a reply to the quartering. Very different channel than yours. I wouldn't call the quartering a very different channel than mine. I mean, what do we both do? He talks about video games. He reviews video games, kind of. Well, I don't know. Does he really review games? I think he more talks about games, talks about the gaming industry. And I talk about games and talk about the gaming industry. We're both talking heads. I think the difference with him is he covers a lot more drama and a lot more political scope when it comes to games and people. And I don't. I know drama gets more views, of course. But whatever. I mean, again, I'm not in this for the views. So, as for the algorithm doesn't hate you, it does. The algorithm ebbs and flows, and basically how a YouTube channel does, this is where the luck comes in. how well a YouTube channel performs is largely based on how well the algorithm likes your videos. Right now, the algorithm is not liking my videos. So my videos, while they show up in your recommended, that's nice. It was in your recommended. Did you get a notification about it? Were you told I put up a new stream or a new video? Or was it just in your recommended? Okay, cool. It was in your recommended, but you're subscribed to my channel. How about people that aren't subscribed to my channel? Did it show up in their recommended? Probably not. The people that have the bell hit, did they get a notification? Some probably did, but not many. You know, it ebbs and flows with YouTube. And right now I'm in a huge lull where YouTube just doesn't like my videos. And that's fine. It ebbs and flows. It'll probably pop back up, you know, in a few weeks when I'm doing E3 videos. So probably, I guess I shouldn't say that's guaranteed, but I think we'll end up getting a lot of views during E3. I mean, we'll have a lot of content coming out. God, we're going to have like 4, 5, 6 videos a day or something crazy, especially once we get to the show floor. Those 3 days for E3, there's going to be a ton of videos coming out per day because we have lots of gameplay and hands-on impressions to get to and all that. Let's see here. When I first started in YouTube, I would click on my video just to count it as a view and left a like. See, I don't even care to do that. No, I click on my videos sometimes just to read comments. That's pretty much it. SSRCR85 says, I missed you, bud. I've missed some of you guys too. I'd say all of you guys, but I haven't seen all of you guys. Sonic the Hedgehog is here apparently saying, I killed all the haters and created likes. I am your savior. Gotta go fast. Sonic the Hedgehog is in the chat. It's the real Sonic. Let's see here. I saw Detective Piplup. Let's see here. Brandon the Stallion. I like that name. Brandon the Stallion. Have I taken advantage of all the eShop game sales yet this week? I sure did. I sprained my wallet. Ouch. I don't have a wallet to sprain. So to answer your question, I have bought... my God, what was the last... Hold on. I'm going to turn my Switch on. By the way, this is actually my first time turning my Switch on this week. Like, over the past 7 days. I have not turned my Switch on one time. I've been busy, man. Trying to get a lot of stuff done around the house before I start my new full-time job where I'm not home. That's kind of my thing right now, is making sure everything... So what was the last game I bought for Switch? It's probably Yoshi's Crafted World, and I got that like 2 days after launch. I don't think I've bought another game since. So it's been a month and a half since I bought a game for Switch. Haven't even bought my game that I'm reviewing this month yet. Well, technically the game I want to review this month's not out yet, but... let's see here. Full moon tonight. Really full. Nice author-writer. I should check it out. I was outside already. I'll be outside later, too. Just kind of chilling and breathing in the cold air because it's starting to get really cold right now. Let's see here. How's the new Castlevania collection? I've heard some bad things about how they run. Not like frame rate rise, but I don't know. I honestly just heard a few people on Twitter saying that it wasn't that great. But I don't know. I didn't play them. Let's see here. Jack Carver. I think they don't invite BitBlock because they don't like people with different opinions. Same with the quartering. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you how they choose who to invite or anything like that. What if they snuck it in a different day? I mean, they could. Soundman, I'm sure. I think you're trying to talk about. Oh, geez. I think you're trying to talk about snuck in on a different day. Either the Switch Mini and Switch Pro. I guess they could, but whatever. I do see over here author, writers like, holy S. We don't allow swearing on the channel anymore. It says, you're late on the chat. I am... what I try to do is read the entire chat. Because I don't, like, there's only 35 people watching, so I'm trying to read the entire chat and not miss any questions or any of the conversations going on. What Nintendo and Ubisoft crossover am I thinking? God. How about Zelda and Assassin's Creed? That'd be sick. Let's see here. Might you have Super Metal Dave 64 on the podcast sometime? Maybe. Who knows? I could invite SMD 64 on a podcast sometime and see if I can work out the timing with him. I mean, that's always a possibility. I haven't actually, again, kind of like with Player Essence and other people, like I haven't really talked to SMD in a while. So I'm sure it's something him and I could work out. Get him on a podcast. Maybe I'll get him on one of these pre-E3 podcasts sometime. Let's see here. Sonic Man said, what if everyone has the same idea on getting the Warp Pipe Pass and the line is still long? They're limited. It's limited. So, Nintendo already has control over it. So, let's see here. Usually we get a lot of rumors for E3 2019. This year we got nothing. Yeah. There hasn't been much. Flying Dead L just throwing out a bunch of symbols. What the heck? As much as I think it's good to see Sony and Microsoft partner up for the cloud, I have a weird feeling it will not mean much in terms of multiplayer. I doubted the Azure cloud hasn't meant much for Microsoft, so not on the gaming side, anyways. Let's see here. I could probably get sponsored by G Fuel. I tried getting a hold of G Fuel and they never got back to me on a sponsorship. So, have I played the Splatfest today? I didn't even know there was a Splatfest. So the answer to that is no. As I said, I've been really out of the loop. Let's see here. Ryan S. is here. Welcome. Joe Schmo, you're here. How's it going, man? It says, at this time, the E3 rumors are usually in full swing. It's pretty odd that there are so little. Yep. It's another reason why I haven't had much to talk about. The Digital Den is here. How's it going? I'm hoping to see more Epic Rabbids too. Nice. Trax Zero is here. I want to see what the PlayStation 5 next Xbox console. I think you'll see the next Xbox console at E3, and the PlayStation 5. I think you'll see at the PlayStation Experience later this year, if they don't do a separate event. Sonic Man says, I have something really interesting to say about Nintendo America's support team. On the Brazilian site, support is in their language, but they don't have any offices there. Interesting. Hey! True Dog X hits us with a super chat. Says, YouTube gave me a free super chat. Support you with it. Thank you so much. Let me get your little cap shot in for you, man. Thank you so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it, man. Cheers. Wild grape McGillicuddies. All right. Let's see here. From what people in Latin America are saying, Nintendo is not down there. I have no idea. Edward Norton is here. Yeah, of course he had to come in to chime on the court arena. I'm not surprised. Edward Norton says, does next gen really set up a huge threat for Switch? For AAA third party support, yeah. In terms of like, oh my god, if Switch doesn't respond, it's screwed. I'm like, no, because most people are not buying Switches for AAA third party games. It's just reality. There are some, of course, there are outliers, but that doesn't make up a majority of the audience. So I don't think it's a threat in terms of replacing the Switch, but a threat in terms of replacing the third-party support it has right now. Sure. Eric Moore was here for a moment. How's it going, Eric? He was here and then he left, so he wasn't here for very long. Let's see here. Nicholas Specia is here. If you want your comments to show up, don't swear. But I'll just read your comment without the swear word. It said, I wish Dreamcast guy would stop being in my recommended. I hate that clickbait. I'm not going to say the last word either because we don't allow personal insults like that. I mean, it's okay if you don't like Dreamcast Guy. I think there's a way you can hide certain channels. I'm trying to remember. I think YouTube has a way to hide channels, so then they won't show up in your recommended anymore. I can't remember how to do it though. Someone might have to just Google it. You know. Let me see here. One random gamer's here. He's like the bearer of low-hanging fruit. You don't recommend him. Y2 Wrestling. Are you buying Sonic Team Racing? I am getting it Monday night. That is actually the game I want to review for the month of May. I don't currently have the cashola to buy it, so that kind of throws a wrench in my plans to review it. But we'll see. The problem is any money I get, I kind of have to save for E3 right now. So it's a really bad time for me to buy a game. But got to get something, right? I tried getting a hold of Sega to try to get a review copy of it, but that didn't work out. So at least it hasn't worked out yet. I guess there's still time. Let's see here. Hi, Nate. You're listening while cooking and playing Mario Rabbids. Well, you're probably done cooking at this point, Joel Putz, but welcome. Let's see here. Do you think you could have knocked Arnold Schwarzenegger over with your best blindside kick? No. Why is the Wii U listed on Nintendo's website in South America? I don't know. Ask Nintendo, man. I don't have the answer to these questions. I barely understand all the questions for like North America. Don't start asking me about South America. Shawnee Music is here. Any advice on applying for jobs and writing resumes? If you've never written a resume before, there's a lot of websites out there that'll let you just like use a resume creator for free. So that's kind of a way to go if you've never wrote a resume before. Don't be afraid when you're writing resumes to put on things that to you don't seem relevant to the job. Things like if you were in band and choir. Things like if you ever worked at a soup kitchen, or if you mowed lawns in your neighborhood, or something just dumb that seemed completely irrelevant to what you're applying to, because it helps show your character. And a lot of times, if you're underqualified for a position, but they like your character, they will give you a shot. So that's one thing. And as for applying for jobs, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Apply for jobs that you are qualified for or want to do. I don't know. I mean, there really isn't any advice for applying for jobs. You just do it. Let's see here. From what Alexa said about Ubisoft being in Quebec. It's actually called Ubisoft Divertissement. I say in Canada. I have no idea. I can't pronounce that. Author writer says, do you think we could organize a boycott? Do you think it'd be effective in getting Nintendo to make changes to the online service? No. One, I'm a really tiny YouTube channel. It would take someone like PewDiePie to have any sort of effective boycott. I am way too small of a channel to have any sort of impact that Nintendo would even notice. So, trying to organize a boycott would just... It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be big enough. Nintendo's not going to care. All they care about is people spending money and the Switch still selling and the game still selling. And they're going to continue to sell. There's no reason to think they're going to not sell just because some people don't want to pay $20 a year. See here. I would rather have more high-quality indies and AA Japanese games over Western AAA. I mean, all personal taste, of course. Let's see here. I doubt less than 25% of Switch users are subscribed. Great idea. We should have PewDiePie do the boycott, but PewDiePie has to care about it, and PewDiePie doesn't boycott things. So, do you think we'll hear anything from Microsoft on Switch, considering they want games on Switch? Just smaller things. Because like what we had, Cuphead, obviously Minecraft, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I think Ori and the Blind Forest will probably get announced. I don't think we're gonna get any of the major, like the Halos or whatever that we were kind of hoping. I mean, boycott with the community, not just us. That's obvious. I mean, yeah, but the community has to give enough craps about it, and I don't think the community gives enough craps, if we're being completely honest. Like, they're already hitting the dislike button on, like, every single Nintendo Switch Online video, like, crazy. Like, Nintendo knows people aren't happy with it, but they don't really care because they're making money. The only way to have an effective boycott is for Nintendo to lose money, and they're not losing money. So, all right. Let me go over to Twitch here. No, nothing on Twitch. See, I caught up to the chat. It didn't take as long to catch up to the chat as I thought it would, like an hour. Have more than dislikes. Not only that, but Nintendo's online service isn't actually bad per se. It's just not amazing. What do you expect from using $20 a year? Basic features and functionality that they gave us for free on Wii U. Burn! I mean, literally, we had better online on Wii U, and it was free. Now we pay for it and have worse. It's game fuel. Jeez. Bum 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 bum. Caught up to the chat. Did not expect to catch up to the chat tonight. I thought I'd be behind the whole time. That's all right. The Switch needs a baseball game. Sonic Man just hit us with how many? Gosh, I can't even count. That's 29. 29 bits. Sonic Man the Best hits us with the 29 bits on Twitch. 29 cents. Thank you so much, Sonic Man. Not $1 though. Gotta be at least $1 if you want to pull off my cap shot. But thank you so much for the 29 bits. Let's see here. Nintendo Switch Online is so progressive and forward thinking. Totally. YXBA says, do I miss Reggie? I miss Reggie's public appearances, but here's the thing, he hasn't really been making those public appearances for years. So, I mean, I guess I've been kind of missing him long before he actually left. You know, it's going to be weird not seeing him at E3 because you would always see him walking around. He's just taller than everyone. The guy's huge. He's like 6'6". 6'6", 300, just like moving the whole earth every time he takes a step. And I'm not saying that as like a fat joke because he's not fat. It's just he's just a big guy, man. Like, you can't miss Reggie Fils-Aimé. His presence is just, and he always has like, you know, a big security posse around him that are all shorter than him. I don't think Reggie needs protection. I think those might be to protect people from Reggie. All right, let's see here. And go back to bring the normal chat back up here. Whoops, that's not the normal chat. That's Photoshop. Misclick on things. All right, get this chat back over here. It was weird seeing Reggie at PC events. I mean, he it is what it is. He's retired now. He can do whatever speaking events he wants. I don't understand what Nintendo was thinking with their online service. It just doesn't make sense. Like, why? Because Nintendo doesn't understand online, and nothing you can say. Have I played Fortnite Season 9? No, I have not. Y2 Wrestling. I have not. I thought about playing some Fortnite tonight, but it's probably not going to happen. Since Nintendo says their direct will be focused on 2019 games, do you think they'll have more of a focus on third-party games, or are they going to drop a few 2020 surprise titles? It's going to be on 2019 games. They literally told you that it's going to focus on 2019 games. However, there'll be some third-party games, obviously, because those can be 2019. And I do think they will have like 1 or 2 games for 2020 shown. I don't know what they are, but they do it every year. Like, they say, games for this year only, and they always tease a couple for the next year. Yeah, the original Wii's online was amazing and evidently way more stable than the Wii U's. Even the Switches, I don't know what's up with that. Do you plan on using the Pikachu decals you got? Because I only see one on the wall so far. Yeah, in my kids' bedrooms. I only wanted one. I only wanted the Pikachu, the one Pikachu decal. I didn't want anything else. There'll eventually be some Zelda ones up there and a few Metroid, and I just have to buy them, and don't have the money, so they come when they come. Cordelia's here. Welcome. Why Hixby? Check your DMs, man. Supermodel Dave is telling you, check your DMs. He must be hitting you up. That's a big deal. My fiance is trying to get a hold of me. I better respond. So, she just sent one message. She was just asking how the kiddos went to bed. All right, let's see here. Came from the PE live stream. He was being a bully again. Sean 2018. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna. I wasn't there. Do you think Reggie understandy? Probably. Coca-Cola, welcome. Meanwhile, Bowser runs amok at NOA. No work gets done, I'm sure. Evernoy, people need to realize that at least an effort is being made to improve Switch Online. Could be getting more Nintendo Switch Online exclusive content could be. I have no idea. Who knows? I'm DMing. Believe me. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting in the middle of something there. It's like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Except when we're talking about YXBA and Super Metal Dave. I don't know where that reference actually fit in there. It's just the first thing that popped in my mind. Steve Waz, I wanted something different for the next 5 years, so figured why not. Nintendo said they were focused on 2019 games, but you and I both know that's a white lie. Even with 2019's lineup, I don't think... Yeah, I mean, you don't think they have enough to carry a whole E3 Direct. That I'm going to have to disagree with. I know it's a white lie because they're going to tease at least one game for 2020, but don't have enough to carry a whole E3 Direct. What the hell? Do we need to go over to the Nintendo Switch 2019 lineup? Heck, let's just go off the top of my head. Remember, last year they spent 2/3 of the thing talking about one game. So, let's just think about this for a moment. Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? The big game, maybe you've heard of it. Animal Crossing, I don't know, big game, maybe you've heard of it. Fire Emblem Three Houses, big game, maybe you've heard of it. Daemon X Machina, heck, they've been talking about that for like a year, right? They're treating it like a big game, maybe you've heard of it. Astral Chain, I don't know, looks like a brand new IP big game, maybe you've heard of it. I mean, do I need to go on? Luigi's Mansion 3, I don't know, looks like a big game, maybe you've heard of that one. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, I don't know, big game, maybe you've heard of that one. Super Mario Maker 2, I don't know, they just did a Direct for that one. Like, that's 8 major games right there. That literally could be a Nintendo Direct on its own. So, like, and that's just off the top of my head. There's even way more than that. So, like, to act like they don't have enough games in 2019 to fill out a Nintendo Direct at E3 is an asinine statement. It's an ignorant statement. They have they have more games lined up for the rest of this year than they have had lined up in any year of Switch, and that's not enough to fill an E3 Direct. Oh, it's more than enough. We just all know they're going to tease at least one game for 2020 because that's what they do. Nintendo is like, all these games. Oh, and by the way, we have this one big game you're not going to see for a year or two because they want to let you know. They're trying to give you confidence in, hey, yeah, we have all these amazing games for this year, but we're not done. There's more to come. That's kind of like Nintendo's mantra is. We want to give you one thing. We want to give you a taste of something that lets you know there's more to come. Hey, Link's Awakening Remastered. That's another one too. Cadence of Hyrule, although hopefully will be out this month. I don't know. We still don't have a release date. But welcome, Sonic 47 Central. I'm glad you're here. Do you hear Japan has a new emperor? Does it? I have no idea. I don't pay attention to monarchies, really. Like, I don't even know who. Like, I know that like England or the UK or whatever has a queen, but I don't know her name. Don't really care. I mean, I know there's a royal family because it pops up in the news sometimes. I just don't care. I don't live there. It's not really something that I concern myself with. Would Sans being in Smash break the internet? I don't even know who Sans is, so probably. I don't know. Nintendo is cause a 2025 games. They will announce 2 games releasing for the next 6 years. Jeez. What's that Luigi's Mansion arcade from the Prime HQ? I do not have a Luigi's Mansion arcade. You guys are talking about something that I posted up on Instagram and Twitter today. That's right. We have an Instagram, by the way. Obviously, we've had a Twitter. Twitter's literally advertised all the time. Instagram, guys, go check us out. Nintendo_Prime on Instagram if you happen to be a grammer out there. Is that what they're called? Grammars? I'm not even sure. It feels like weird to call them a grammer when grammar's a word. Anyways, we have an Instagram, and all throughout E3 we'll be tweeting, or not, I shouldn't say tweeting, we'll be gramming. What's it called? I'm new to Instagram, so I don't get it. Anyways, we'll be putting up pictures from E3 that are exclusive to Instagram all throughout our trip to E3. So check out Instagram if you want to get an even deeper inside look than just our vlogs and whatever else we talk about on live streams. So it'll be a great way to get some additional E3 goodness. Let's see here. So that Luigi's Mansion arcade unit, it's actually at a pizza joint in town, and I had no idea that it was there. We went there to pick up some pizza for lunch, and lo and behold, there was this Luigi's Mansion arcade unit there. And I'm like, when did this become an arcade game? That's freaking awesome. So that's where that came from. Let's see here. I don't think they have enough to carry direct because Animal Crossing is the only game that hasn't gotten an official reveal trailer. Nintendo Directs are mostly about showing gameplay, not revealing games. I mean, did you watch last year's Direct for E3? It's not really about revealing games. It's about showing gameplay. That's what the Directs are primarily about. I know people get excited about new announcements, but I mean, there could be new announcements. We wouldn't know because they're new announcements. Anyways, let's see here. Town. Oh yeah, we can't forget about Town. Corey Bohm, thank you for reminding me. Town, obviously new IP for Game Freak. 2019 is packed. I don't know what that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many games coming out in 2019. They could spend that whole week talking about them and still could hear more. People will be expecting new reveals, not just second looks at games we already know are underway. I mean, sure, but that's pretty much what they do every year at E3. Like, I don't know where you've been at E3. There's usually like one new announcement, and then it's just a bunch of stuff that we already know about. It's just more of it. That's what they do at E3. That's what they've been doing at E3. That has been E3's their mantra at E3 for 5 straight years. So I don't know what you expect. Them to suddenly about face and not do what they've been doing for 5 years. Heck, longer than 5 years. 7 years? God, wait, 6 years. 6 years. Let me see here. People were so hyped in 2017, yet 2019 is a lot better, and people are still complaining. I don't get it. No, I mean, no one's ever satisfied. Do you think Ninjala will shadow drop at E3? No, it's not going to shadow drop at E3. I don't think it's even going to come out till late 2019, and it feels like they kind of killed the hype for that game, right? Like, it should have been a spring game this year, and it wasn't ready. And then they're just not even talking about it. What do you think Nintendo's next console will be? It'll be another Switch. I don't think they're abandoning the Switch concept anytime soon, since they have no competition for the concept. Yeah, Directs are focused on already reveal games. E3 is E3. If it's worth being hyped about, it's got to have those new reveals to make that hype. Again, Sonic Central, 47 Central. Have you watched Nintendo's E3 for the last 6 years? They don't do that. They have usually one reveal, and that's it. Metroid Prime 4. Okay, cool. Everything else in that entire Direct we knew beforehand. Heck, last year's E3, was there even a new announcement in that Direct? Like, pay attention to what Nintendo's doing at E3. It's just a bigger Nintendo Direct. It's not. They don't treat it like you want them to treat you. You're acting like these Directs they do at E3 are all full of these all massive big new announcements, when that's traditionally not what they're doing with them. So I guess be disappointed, because that's not what they do at E3. They just give you a ton of looks at the games that we know are coming, and then usually 1 or 2 announcements or teases on games that we're not aware of. Like, there'll be something we don't know, but that might be the only something. Like, it's hard to be like, oh, I feel like they don't have enough or whatever to fill out. And it's like, but you're talking about new announcements, so we're not supposed to know about them yet. So we couldn't possibly know right now what announcements they might have at E3. So it's hard to be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be whatever. Like, just wait for the dang thing to happen and then complain. Let's see here. Since they made ARMS and fitness boxing, is there talk of making a Punch-Out sequel for the Switch? I've not heard anything, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing coming. Yeah, directs are focused on already revealed games, but E3 is E3. See, here's the thing. What did they focus on in 2016? Breath of the Wild. Game that had already been revealed at E3 2014, and we had seen gameplay from at the Game Awards in 2014. Yet they made the entire E3 about one game. It was a risk, and it worked. Right? Like, they made a huge chunk of E3 in 2017 about Super Mario Odyssey, and it worked. They made a huge chunk of E3 last year all about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and guess what? It worked. So this year, they can make a huge chunk of E3 about Super Mario Maker 2, or they can make it all about Animal Crossing, and it's probably going to work. So, like, that's been what they do at E3 now. Ever since E3 2016, there's one headline game, and that is what a majority of E3 is about for them. Animal Crossing is a big enough game to be that headline game. Super Mario Maker 2 is a big enough game to be that headline game. Either one of those could be on their own. Fire Emblem, you could argue, could be big enough on its own, but it's not as big as the other two games I mentioned. Let's see here. Wait, what if they don't call it Switch 2? They're not going to call it Switch 2. Nintendo doesn't use numbers, so it won't be called Switch 2. Nintendo Ultra, how is that name? They won't abandon the Switch branding so long as there's nothing bad associated with the Switch branding. Not in the first one anyways. E3 2018 sucked ass, so you can't use that as an example. E3 2017 also revealed Yoshi, Fire Emblem, Sword, and Shield. Sword and Shield was actually was revealed before E3, so that's a lie. They still have yet to ever reveal a Pokemon game at a Nintendo Direct, so that's wrong. That was revealed before E3. Fire Emblem, Three Houses. Hold on, let me look something up here. Fire Emblem Switch reveal was I hate how this doesn't work. Fire Emblem was unveiled in 2017. So I mean, that's cool. Yoshi, I think, was also unveiled there, as you said. But again, like, those were what did I say happens at every E3? One or two games that are teased for the future. Okay, there's your one or two games teased for the future. And in terms of saying that E3 2018 sucked ass, they focused on Smash Bros, right? Oh man, terrible decision. Horrible decision. Well, Smash Bros. Went on to become the best-selling game in the entire franchise. It is on pace to be, well, it's already the best-selling fighting game of all time on an individual platform. And it's going to go on to become the best-selling game on Switch. So, like, you could say E3 2018 was terrible and a disappointment and a disaster. Nintendo looks at it as, well, we focused on Smash Bros. At E3 2018, and it went on to become the best-selling game on the entire platform. So Nintendo is going to look at you and laugh at the idea that E3 2018 was bad when E3 2018 helped directly lead to the best-selling game on their platform and then making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. You personally can think E3 2018 was bad, but Nintendo doesn't agree with you, and their pocketbooks aren't agreeing with you either, because every year they have focused on one game, and every year they've done that, those games have exploded in sales. Breath of the Wild, best-selling Zelda game of all time, and it's not even close. Super Mario Odyssey, best-selling 3D Mario game of all time, and it's not really even that close. Like, Smash Bros, it's not really even that close. whatever they choose to advertise this year, I bet you it won't even be that close in terms of how much it's going to smoke the best-selling game in whatever franchise it is. So, like, Nintendo's onto something here. They have figured out a way to use and abuse E3 to create massive sales. They have figured it out. Nintendo has figured out E3. You can hate it. You can hate that this is how they do it, but Nintendo figured it out. They figured it out back at E3 2016, and they've just been abusing the hell out of it ever since. And it works. And it's going to continue to work. Because there's no reason for it not to, as long as the game is widely considered a game that delivers on the giant promise that Nintendo puts behind it. At E3 2018, they announced Fortnite. Yep, there was Fortnite. Mario Party. Was Super Mario Party actually announced at E3? Let me look that up quick. It might have been announced at E3. I'm just looking. When was it announced? Yeah, okay. So it was an E3 announcement. You're right on that one. I'm trying to remember back now. My memory's a little fuzzy right now because I'm all like doing research for the current E3 and I'm not looking at the prior ones. Daemon X Machina. Can't remember when that was announced, but again, your Fortnite was just like dropped on Switch. There was like a shadow drop. And Mario Party and again Daemon X Machina. As I said, 1 or 2 announcements every year. There's 1 or 2 announcements every year. You're just proving what I already said, that there's 1 or 2 announcements every single year. That still doesn't end up being, like, was E3 2018 focused on Daemon X Machina, Mario Party, and Fortnite? Nah. It was focused on Smash. Like, yeah, they had announcements. Not really what that E3 was about. That's not what people are going to remember from E3 2018. Let's see here. Nintendo 2020 focus on Shrek. Investors go wild. So wild the stock market closes and it went up 654%. That would. Let's see here. E3 won't focus on Mario Maker 2. We already had a direct for it. I agree. I don't think they'll be focusing on Mario Maker 2, but I don't know. They also might be. I mean, who knows? I don't know what their strategy or their plan is. You know, we knew about Smash before E3 last year. So, like, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what they're doing. I just know Nintendo is going to do what they do. Whatever it is they decide to push, that's going to blow up. They revealed Sword and Shield in 2017. Sword and Shield was unveiled this year. It wasn't 2017. They just unveiled that they were making a Pokemon game. That's not the same as unveiling the actual game they're making. I understood why Nintendo focused on Zelda in 2016 because it was Nintendo's first initiative to get consumers invested in the Switch. Sure. It was also because the Wii U was going out of production and they had nothing to sell that year. They needed to get people excited about the future. Chuck Norris going to be a DLC character? Obviously not. I know it's a joke question, but what's your favorite Sonic character you like the most? I mean, Tails. I've always really liked Tails. Since what, Sonic 2 or Sonic 3? I can't remember which one really heavily featured Tails, but maybe they all feature Tails heavily. I spent so long, but I really like Tails. An unbiased Nintendo fan says, well, Nintendo had almost no games ready for 2016 to show at E3. Same for 2018. That's why they focused on Breath of the Wild and Smash. So then why did they focus on Super Mario Odyssey in 2017? They figured it out. E3 2016 opened Nintendo's eyes to what E3 can do for them. Why they continue to show up. Why E3 matters so much. Yeah, there'll be other games. But the one game they focus on the most just kills it in sales. And E3 is a big reason for that because E3 introduces so many new people to that game. So you can argue whatever you want to argue, but reality is staring you in the face that Nintendo has been consistent for 3 straight E3s. 3 straight E3s. There's no reason for them to deviate from that plan now. It works. It's worked for 3 straight years. Got to remember, what's E3 for Nintendo? E3 is a marketing event, right? That's what it is. It's a marketing event for Nintendo, and they are brilliantly taking advantage of that marketing event. I bet you Sony wishes they had figured this out a long time ago, and they'd still be at E3 this year. But Sony couldn't figure it out and kept getting worse and worse and worse to the point that they don't think it's worth the money to be there. Let's see here. Three Houses, I think, was a direct in Feb. I don't remember. Honestly, I wish I remembered these things. I used to, but it's just been a long time since I thought about it. I'd have to go look it up. Let's see here. I remember hearing a bit of disappointment coming from others in 2018. We knew they were going to focus on Smash, but I don't think anyone expected it to be more than half the show. I mean, I didn't like that Smash was 20 minutes, but you know what? What the hell do I know? I mean, for Nintendo, it's a marketing event, and Smash blew the hell up. So, again, what the hell do I know? I'm just pretty sure it won't be Pokemon as a focus, because Pokemon doesn't need E3 to sell big. Let's see here. Chris is new here. How's it going? I acknowledged you. Consider yourself acknowledged. How many consoles would Nintendo need to sell to surpass Apple? Fun fact, Apple is worth around $1 trillion. They would have to, God, billions. I mean, there's so many Apple devices out there. I just feel like if Nintendo can reveal games like Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario Maker 2, and Link's Awakening in Directs, they could reveal at least more than one big game at E3. They could, but they don't really. They usually give you a couple, and that's about it. Like that's just, you could feel how you want to feel, but Nintendo, it's a marketing event for them. It's just a marketing event. They have E3 spread throughout the year to announce stuff. It's a marketing event. It's just the biggest marketing event. So what they do at the biggest marketing event is choose to market their biggest game for that year. That is what Nintendo chooses to do with the biggest marketing event of the year. And it's been working for them. So, you can disagree and want to do things differently, but I don't know, man. Nintendo's strategy is working like crazy, so. That's the thing. The Switch, that's the thing. Switch Nintendo only focuses on money. Here's a fun fact. Nintendo only got into video games because of money. Here's a fun fact. Nintendo exists to make money. If they only cared about money, they would have DLC'd the hell out of Super Mario Odyssey and made every single costume in that game a microtransaction. Nintendo doesn't only care about money, but money is a central factor for driving the company, as it's always been since the company was formed 120 plus years ago. Nintendo exists to make money. Who knew? But you can't really use that argument when they are not actively pushing the worst of the worst ways to milk their consumers and still make high quality products along the way. So you literally are being so biased right now, but you're biased against Nintendo like crazy, and we all know this at this point. Let's see here. The funny thing about those smiles and those old memories of Nintendo is, one, nostalgia glasses that you have on, and two, that Nintendo did all that to make money. You were a kid. Let me tell you, my kids are growing up with Nintendo right now, and they're loving everything they're doing. When we were a kid, we didn't really care about shady marketing practices like Nintendo had when they were marketing up against Sega. We didn't care about the zillions of crappy games Nintendo released because we only remember the good ones. We remember the Marios, the Zeldas, the Metroids. We don't remember the absolute trash that Nintendo put out there on the market. You don't believe me? Nintendo produced a lot of trash games on the NES and Game Boy and SNES. They made a lot of bad games. But you don't remember those ones. You remember the good ones. Like, that's the thing. When you think back to the Nintendo of old, you got to think back to yourself of old, too, where you didn't care about any of that crap. All you remembered are the good times. You didn't think about the bad. Heck, maybe you didn't experience the bad, for crying out loud. You know? My kids right now, if they don't like a game, they just stop playing and move on to the next one. They don't even think twice about the game they don't like. They're like, oh, yeah, don't like that one. Move on to the next one. Right? Like... So for them, all their memories of Nintendo when they're older are going to be amazing and awesome. And now when they start caring about other things besides just the handful of games they enjoyed when they were a kid, they're going to be like, "Oh man, I wish for the old Nintendo," and blah blah blah. And it's going to be like, dude, you changed too. Like it's kind of time to admit, like when we're younger and we're kids, and now when we're adults, we're different people than we were when we were kids. That's just reality. We grew up. Life has changed us. Experiences, like, we have changed. Nintendo has actually not changed as much as people think they have. if you actually look at the history of Nintendo and their games and how, like, it's really not that much different today than it was back then. But we just care and pay more attention to things than we did when we were kids. I think my kids are on YouTube watching videos about Nintendo that much. Not really. My daughter tries a little bit, but not that much. She doesn't really understand. I think they're avidly researching all these different things. No, they're just playing games and having fun. They see a commercial on TV and they go, oh, I want to play that. And then you buy it and they either like it or they don't, and they move on with their life. Like, it's so simple when you're a kid. You don't get emotionally invested like this. Let's see here. What game do you think will be the focus? It's probably going to be Animal Crossing, I assume. Assuming Animal Crossing is for sure coming out this year. Otherwise, I don't know. It could be Fire Emblem. They're calling it the Warp Pipe Pass. That's kind of the one thing why I think it could be Super Mario Maker 2 is because they have it. You know, last year it was called the Smash Pass, and they were focused on Smash. This year it's called the Warp Pipe Pass. Guessing that that's a reference to Super Mario Maker 2, but I don't know. They have a lot. They have a lot of big games this year. That's the thing. You know, it's not like last year where very, very clearly Odyssey was above everything else by the time or that Smash was above everything else last year and that Odyssey was above everything else the year before. Like, it's not so clear cut which game is going to be the biggest game for Switch this year. I mean, it's probably going to be Sword and Shield, to be fair, but Sword and Shield also doesn't need E3. So, and I think that's kind of the way Nintendo looks at it as, yeah, Sword and Shield's huge, but like it's so huge that it doesn't need this marketing to sell. Let me see here. We could say that Nintendo lost at E3. 6 months later, they actually won E3. I mean, if you're talking about, there's really two ways to look at E3: winning and losing E3. For starters, I don't think there's any. You know, we can argue about who had a better showing at E3. Like, that's all going to be subjective opinions on what games you like and presentations and cringe and all that. Like, whatever. That's always going to be subjective. For Nintendo, they look at winning E3 as coming off of E3. Did our focus at E3 lead to us selling more stuff? The answer has been yes for 3 straight years. So to them, that's a massive success for E3. They are using E3 for what it is, which is a marketing tool. I think as gamers, we forget what E3 really is. It's a giant e-peen marketing tool. That's all E3 really is. Now, so from Nintendo's side of things, absolutely, they've done fantastic and they've owned E3 for 3 years. But as gamers, we tend to look at it different. We tend to look at, well, coming out of E3, are we more or less excited for Nintendo? And for some people, they're less excited. For some people, they're more excited. Like, if you were really, really hardcore into Smash, I'm sure you loved E3 last year. I'm not hardcore into Smash, so it was just kind of whatever for me. But I recognize that, hey, it's an important game, and I see the sales, so clearly they did something right. Even if I would have preferred they would have spent more time on Mario Tennis Aces or something. I don't know. Something I'm more interested in, but it's life. Let's see here. This guy has a Nintendo controller. You mean the NES controller on the hat? Yeah. Neil Agasto. I'm stoked for E3. Hoping Nintendo does some great stuff. I'm still praying for Game Pass on Switch. That would be nice, right? No drinking on job, Nate. Just kidding. Keep up the great work. I only do that for super chats and donations, and I don't have. It was only been one super chat tonight, so. Let's see here. Fire Emblem was on Nintendo's financial report since 2017. Besides Smash, Nintendo really didn't have much coming between E3 2018 and 19 that needed a showcase. I mean, you could argue Let's Go, but they gave Let's Go a lot of time on the Treehouse too. That's the thing. Like, Nintendo, people need to stop looking at E3 as it's the direct and nothing else. There's the show floor, there's the hands-on demos, and all of this media trying to do things, and then there's also Nintendo Treehouse. Like, Nintendo treats E3 like an event. It doesn't just treat it as, oh, here's a 35-minute presentation, and that's it. See you guys later. See you next E3. No, Nintendo treats E3 like a giant 3-day event. And, well, actually, more like a 5-6 day event now that they have those tournaments. So, like, Nintendo tries to create a big event atmosphere around it that, yeah, a direct is part of it, but it's not the entire E3. And I think some people lose focus of that at times. Because, heck, they have had new announcements during the Treehouse stream. So, yeah, I don't know. I like how Nintendo does E3, personally. I wish they were doing it this way when I was a kid, to be honest. Because you just get so much more now than you did back then. Back then, it was like, oh, cool, you get to watch this press conference for an hour and a half where the first 40 minutes are Nintendo going over financials that I just don't care about. And then finally, we get some cool announcements, and then that's it. It's over. And, boom, well, I can't go to E3, so for me, especially in the pre-YouTube era, that's it. See you guys next year. Now it's like, crap, I got days and days and days of content to pay attention to and watching live streams, and it's awesome. It's like almost like March Madness where you get like a week where it's like, okay, you better take off work that week and just sit back and watch some TV for a week because it's going to be crazy. Let's see here. I hope E3 2019 is more like E3 2017 than E3 2018. Make Animal Crossing the main focus, but show some cool new games. I'm fine with only Pikmin 4. God, Pikmin 4 would be sick. Obviously. Let's see here. I really, I'd like to just know Pikmin 4 is still gonna be a thing. I don't disagree with that, not at all. I honestly feel like E3 doesn't really do anything for Nintendo they can't already do without it. They don't need E3 for a marketing blowout. Completely disagree with you on that one, and Nintendo will disagree with you too. If you remember back in December when in response to Sony backing out of E3, Reggie Fils-Aimé, obviously then president of Nintendo of America, was asked, if Nintendo would consider pulling out of E3. And what did Reggie state at the time? Basically, hell effing no, because the amount of attention we get at E3 dwarfs almost everything else they do throughout the entire year combined. E3 and the attention Nintendo gets from a marketing perspective during E3 is bigger than every single Nintendo Direct combined. So when you talk about how, you don't think personally that they need E3, that they can get all the same amount of hype outside of E3, Nintendo's looking at you like, what the F are you talking about? We never get the attention that we get during E3. Anywhere. Period. It doesn't happen. We've announced Pokemon on its own. The Pokemon announcement on its own didn't get the same amount of attention as we get during E3. They announced Smash outside of E3. Well, yeah, Smash didn't get as much attention as it did inside of E3. Like, bottom line is, E3 itself is Nintendo's biggest marketing tool of the entire year. It's bigger than anything else they do. And it's not even close. So, to talk about how, you feel like they could build the same kind of hype outside of it, maybe for you because you're someone that pays attention to Nintendo year-round. Bottom line is, at E3 is where you get the eyeballs of people that aren't tuning into Nintendo Directs all year round. You know why? They have jobs. They have lives. They have things going on, right? They don't just take off from work to watch those Nintendo Directs. They have kids. They have college. And they have all these things going on where they're not sitting there watching Nintendo Directs and trailers like a hawk. But they do know that one time per year during E3, hey, we better pay attention. And they tune in. And that's when the national media covers. That's when you get New York Times involved. I'm telling you, the amount of marketing that you get at E3, which is a marketing event, is massive for Nintendo. They view it so valuable that the thought of not being there just seems dumb to them. They don't really understand why Sony's not there, other than the fact that it's been very clear that Sony has failed to take advantage of that marketing opportunity for years. Last year was just an embarrassment, and that's weird considering that they had some really good games, and it still was an embarrassment how they handled everything. But it been several year buildup of Sony kind of not getting how to best market at E3, where Nintendo figured it the hell out. So. Let me see here. Nintendo has shipped at least, I don't know why we're talking about all this hardware. Because it doesn't really matter. That's all in the past. If you want to compare that to Apple, Apple's shipped billions and billions and billions of devices since 2007. And that's not counting all the Macintosh computers before that. Like, oh wow, Nintendo might have 755 million pieces of hardware out there in total, but like, oh my gosh, Apple is way ahead of that. It's not even like it's like that's like a drop in the bucket. That's like that's like a year for Apple. Anyways, I can't wait for Wolfenstein Youngblood on Switch. It looks good. I agree. We changed, and I do look back at my childhood games were fine. It's true. Like I look back at my childhood. When I think back, I played a ton of really bad games. I played, God, hundreds of terrible games. But when I think back on my childhood, I never think of those games. I only think of the games that made me happy, and I remember the most. I don't think about how much the games cost. I don't think about how much my parents spent on it, or how much allowance I spent on it, how many times I rented it. I don't think about any of that stuff. I just think on, hey, I had a really amazing time with that one game, and that's what I remember. So, I think that's just the way it happens with anything in our childhood. Some of us obviously have really, really crappy childhoods, so all we have is bad memories when we look back. But when I even look back at other things in my life, I remember a ton of positive things about my childhood. Obviously, there are parts of my childhood that had negative things as well, but when it comes to games, all I remember is the good stuff. Yeah, if I think hard enough, oh yeah, I remember playing Superman 64, hating that game and just never touching it again. I remember playing E.T. for like 2 seconds, hating it, never touching it again. Like, I remember playing the bad games, but they're not what I remember most from my gaming days. Let's see here. I predict the Switch will pass 36.2 million by the end of fiscal year 2019 Q1, ending on July 31st. Okay. I think it's only like 2 million. Let's see here. Old Nintendo, of course, had a priority on money, but smiles and memories were equally a main focus. But the main focus of current Nintendo is money. There's the Again, you are just confusing your childhood with what was really going on at Nintendo. Nintendo was extremely competitively focused on money. The whole smiles thing, you're buying into marketing. They still spit out that same marketing today, by the way. When have you ever watched a Nintendo commercial that doesn't have people smiling and having fun? When has Nintendo ever presented anything other than a family-friendly image? Nintendo is always trying to sell fun and always trying to sell smiles and family and making people happy. Nintendo's always selling that. They're still selling that to this day. The difference is you are older now and you see through the marketing and realize they're just trying to make as much money as they can. It's the same thing they were doing when you were a kid. There are Nintendo games that cost over $100 at one point. Like $100. Like, what the hell? For a new game. Why? Nintendo knows they could sell the game for that. Like, Nintendo was milking the hell out of your parents when you were kids. Like, you just don't think about it because you weren't. When you're a kid, you don't think about those kind of things. You think I cared about Super Mario 64 being $100? You think I cared? Nah, I just wanted to play the game. Why did I want to play the game? Because Nintendo marketed that game to me to make me want it and make me beg my parents to buy an N64 and buy the game. Like, and that's back when the money they were spending was worth way the hell more than that money is today. Back when they were only making like $4 an hour on minimum wage or whatever the hell it was back then. Like, Nintendo is literally always about maximizing profits. The difference is you're older and you can see through the marketing now. Like, man, if you can't admit that to yourself, then gosh, I can't really respond to you anymore because you're not even to be able to admit to that you yourself have your own bias about your own gaming experience. Like, come on, we all know we have bias in our gaming experiences. Like, we all know that our views of companies when we were kids are probably not what reality actually was when we were kids. Like, that's just, oh man, that's like acting like, when I think back on my childhood, that everything I experienced as a child was like the greatest thing ever, right? That's what it felt like at the time. So when you think back on it, man, why can't music, why can't all this be like the old days? That's what everyone always says. And that's what my parents said when I was a kid. And now that's what I say when I'm a parent. Like, man, when we're kids, like, we just care about different things than we do when we're adults. When you're kids, all you care about is fun. You don't think about all the things that lead to that fun. My kids want to go to the water park. They don't consider that for me to take the kids to the water park, it's $15 per kid to go to the water park. I have 3 of them. They want me to swim with them. So then that's another $15 for me to go. So right there, just to take my 3 kids and me, and heck, my fiance as well, to the water park, that's $75 just to go to the water park. My kids don't think about what I have to do to earn $75 to take them to the water park. They just know the water park is amazing and it's fun. Oh, and then when they're there, of course they want to have pizza and soda and, whatever. And by the time you're all done with that, next thing you know, you've dropped $150, and the kids don't think about that. They don't think about the world in terms of money. They don't think about the world in terms of anything other than, hey, I want to do this because it's fun. And if you, as an adult, like unbiased Nintendo fan, or anyone else that has a mentality like him, if you just stopped worrying about money when it came to video games, right? Stop worrying about it. Pretend that it doesn't matter that there's 10 billion thousand microtransactions in Fortnite or in all these mobile games or in Call of Duties and the Battlefronts and all this stuff. Start having that child mentality where you don't think about money. Who cares? It's not your money. You don't think about any of that. All you think about is, am I having fun? When you start to go back into that childlike mentality, you start to realize how amazing gaming probably still feels like as a kid. My kids are experiencing it right now. They don't think about, how much money I have to come up with to buy a single video game. They just want all the video games. Like, it's so much different when you have that childlike mentality versus an adult mentality. My parents hated that I liked video games when I was a kid because it was so damn expensive, and it ran them into the ground some years with the demands I was putting on them in terms of wanting games, right? Like, stupid. Because as a kid, you don't think about it like that. And as a parent, you're just like, God, I just want this kid to shut up because he's annoying the hell out of me. Whatever. I'll empty my bank account to buy him this damn game so he shuts up and leaves me alone, and hopefully this entertains him for the next week. Like, things are so... Oh, man. The things you cared about as a kid aren't the same as what you care about as an adult. So you can't compare the olden days when you were a child to current present day and the things you care about with games. Because, like, when you were thinking about Nintendo as a money-grubbing company, you weren't thinking about that as a kid, were you? You weren't thinking that, this game exists to make money. You were thinking, man, this game's a hell of a lot of fun. The 8th Thark is here. $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, Nate, glad you like the package. Thanks. No problem, man. Thank you so much for that little Zelda care package. It was really cool. Whoops. Might have got a little overzealous with that shot and dumped some alcohol on me. Gosh dang it, Nate. Alcohol abuse. How old are you, Nate? Should be alcohol abusing around here. Did Eric just... Who's... All right. Let's see here. Sorry about that. My fiance texted me. I think Warpipe Pass is just a fun bit they're doing. Mario Maker 2 would be a weird game to primarily focus on. By then, they'll be running TV commercials for the game. I mean, they're probably already running TV commercials, to be honest. Let's see here. Went to E3 2018 with fairly low expectation. Nintendo's 2017 lineup caters so much to me that I figured next year to try to focus on other franchises I didn't care about much. I get my semi-wish for Super Mario Maker 2. I wanted to see 3D World gameplay in the game, which we got. Mechanics 2.5D, yeah, I know. I'm glad Nintendo does their Treehouse. It helps every game they reveal feel more substantial. I agree with that. Nintendo cannot count to 4. Titles will change. Mario 64 doesn't count. So for Pikmin 4 is just the third Eurogame article reconfirming its existence. Pikmin 4 will become the Half-Life 3. Nah, come on. It's got a long ways to go before you can put Pikmin 4 in the Half-Life 3 territory. I mean, come on. It wasn't that. It was literally just on Nintendo's last-gen system we had Pikmin 3. So that's, come on. We got to at least go a few generations without one before we can talk about not having Pikmin 4 and being Half-Life 3. Am I going to be in the E3 2019 Direct? Obviously, no. Yeah, Reggie said that, and I agree. Right now, E3 gives Nintendo a substantial amount of attention, but E3 needs to remain relevant for that to stay the course. If not, they won't. I mean, it hasn't really changed course for Nintendo, so it has to change course for Nintendo. E3, by the way, is still huge. Like, for all of the people talking about how it's losing relevance, it's losing this, it's gaining viewership every year. E3's total viewership is on the rise year over year, every single year for like the last decade. So the demise is grossly overstated for E3. It just keeps getting more eyeballs every single year. It'll be interesting this year without Sony to see if that trend continues, because that could maybe put a dent in there without Sony there, or maybe it doesn't at all because people tune in because they're really interested in what Microsoft and Nintendo or whoever else is doing. So, like, I don't know. All I know is E3 continues to get more people interested in it every single year. So, that's really all I got for that. A new follower over on Twitch. Thank you so much, Goro187 for following. Let's see here. There are more views for the Smash Direct in August than there is for the E3 2017 Spotlight. There are also more views for the January Mini than the E3 2018 Direct. Yes, you are correct. But you're talking about views after the fact. You're not talking about views during the event. Okay? So, what's important to remember about the E3 Direct or Spotlight or whatever they end up calling the damn thing is that there is 40 minutes or so, whatever, of the Direct, and then immediately goes into Nintendo Treehouse. And then it's like that for 3 straight days. For something like a Nintendo Direct Mini or Spotlight, if there's like one major announcement, like I think the one you're referencing had Dark Souls Remastered in it, there's nothing after that. That's the end of the event. That's it. There's nothing else there. That's it. Done. When you're done watching the Nintendo E3 Direct, there's more to watch. You're not done. So, like, oh man, look at this awesome Smash. Like, everyone is here. Smash Bros. Thing. Guess what? Probably the actual gameplay of Smash Bros. From Nintendo Treehouse is going to probably do better than just the Smash portion of that Direct. Like, it's E3 is an event for Nintendo. So, like, you can't just look at the overall viewership after the fact over time for something like an E3 Direct and then directly compare it to something that's just a standalone thing. Like the Direct thing, in August. Like, okay, yeah. And what made people hype for that Direct thing in August? E3. Like, it had the viewership it had in August directly because of E3. Like, it's such a different thing Nintendo does at E3. It's not just here's our Direct, see you later. It's no, here's our Direct that directly leads into the Treehouse. It's an event for Nintendo. It's not just that 35 to 40 minute segment. That's like the calm before the real Treehouse storm, to be honest. Anyways, but that's how Nintendo's been doing it for like 7 years. Like, they shouldn't be surprised. Let's see here. People don't focus on E3 that much. People find out about those games via YouTube trailers and commercials. Those droves of consumers are what make their games so successful. Sure, and yet viewership of E3 keeps going up every single year. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, the numbers are disagreeing with you. So I can't state this to you more plainly than the number of eyeballs on E3 is still larger than anything else. And it's not even close. So I don't know what else to tell you. Like, the actual stats out there say that. So it's kind of like the Game Awards. There are more people watching the Game Awards every single year. So you could feel like the Game Awards are getting worse or whatever or this and that. but there's more people watching every year, so clearly they're doing something right. Same with E3. I think E3's biggest transition is that eventually they're going to move away from traditional press conferences. That's going to be a thing that's going to happen, and how is that transition going to work? If everyone just does what Nintendo's doing, maybe it would work best for everyone. I don't know, but that's the next big transition for E3 is that eventually no one's going to do traditional press conferences. So then what's going to be the thing that makes you pay attention to E3? And I think that's what the ESA doesn't have an answer for. Because I don't think they think what Nintendo does will work for everyone. Or they would just tell everyone, well, hey, look at what Nintendo's doing, just copy them. Like, it doesn't always work, Every company's got to do their own thing that makes sense for them. But hey, Microsoft's hitting it big this year there, so that's the eyeballs on that Microsoft conference are probably going to be more than they've ever had. It's going to be very interesting to see how many people watch that Microsoft conference, since they are the only one of the platform holders doing a major one. It's going to be crazy. Nintendo was an entertainment company. They've always been an entertainment company. In fact, Nintendo still calls themselves a toy company, if you can believe that or not. Let's see here. What's my favorite bird? I don't really have one. Seahawks 24 rule. Welcome, by the way. That is how they got into North America, because retail refused to sell the Famicom. Okay, here's a new entertainment system. You only pay for what you sell. It was a hit. Here we go. Back then, dads were dads. Yeah. MPD group is in Canada now. I have no idea. Dude, why are you bringing up all this stuff that I don't know about? Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't pay attention. MPD has always covered Canada, by the way. When MPD reports things, it's the sales in North America, not sales in the United States. MPD's been reporting Canadian sales it's been all part of the data the whole time. At least for video games. I don't know about for everything else. Let me see here. If you had to run a new YouTube channel, says Shawnee Music, that didn't have to do with news, gaming, or sports, what would it be? I wouldn't be making one. The only other channel I would make is probably a sports channel. So if it can't be about video games and it can't be about sports, I wouldn't make one, because I don't have any interest to make videos about anything else. I just don't. Let's see here. I hope to God this is the advantage I can have as a parent, that I have these gigantic amounts of games that I can hand my kid and they won't worry too much about the latest stuff. Yeah, I bet you my dad thought that too when he handed me NES games. Doesn't work that way, because their friends are playing the latest stuff. Doesn't work that way. What is the most effective way to contact you privately? Email address, yes. Nathan@nintendoprime.net. Let's see here. I feel like that because there are so few good games on Switch that I see Nintendo's flaws clearer. But again, you as an adult think that there are so few good games on Switch. But if you were a kid, would you really think that? I'm just asking you, I'm just asking in general, because my Switch is on right now, right? And all of these latest play games are for my kids. So my kids are playing Splatoon 2 today. They think it's awesome, right? You could think it's worse than Splatoon. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but as a kid, maybe you would be into it. They were playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They are really into that. They were playing Yoshi. They're really into that. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. They're really into that. Hiroki, for crying out loud. An indie game. They play that all the time. Sonic Mania, they play a lot. Super Mario Party, they play a lot. Fortnite, my daughter tries to sneak and play, even though I don't like her playing it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Yooka-Laylee and Super Mario Odyssey, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Fire Emblem Warriors, which I told them not to play, but they played anyways, because that's just what kids do. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is one they played recently. Golf Story, you look at it as, there's fewer games that I think are good games on Switch. So you see Nintendo's flaws clearer. Again, you're not looking at it as a kid. When you're a kid and all you're worried about is one thing and one thing only, and that's fun. You're not thinking flaws. I think my kids look at Switch and think, oh man, the kickstand sucks. Oh man, these Joy-Cons are a little wobbly. Hey, I'll give you an example. I'll give you one example here. My Joy-Cons are broken on my Switch. When you connect them on the sides, every like 10 minutes they disconnect and stop working, and you have to literally take them off of the Switch, hit the buttons to turn them back on, hit your L and R to resync them, put them back on, hit the L and R again, and then continue to play your game, right? Super annoying. I hate it, and it makes me want to blast the Joy-Con and blast Switch and blast Nintendo, right? But absolutely hate it. Inexcusable that can even happen, right? That's my mentality on as an adult. You know what my kids do? They don't say a damn thing. They just go, whoop, click, back on, play. They don't care. It just doesn't bother them. They just do not give a crap. Would they prefer them not to do that? Probably. But they just don't care. It's not even like a fleeting thought in their mind that that's something to criticize about the system because of how much fun they're having playing the games. Like, the fun they're having makes them ignore these minor annoyances. So, like, again, you're trying to compare you as an adult to you as a kid, and you're just not the same person. I'm just guaranteeing you right now, you're not the same person you were when you were a kid. And you're caring about things you would have never cared about as a kid. And without those cares as a kid, how many games would you actually think are good on Switch? Like right now, you think, oh, this game's bad. But why do you think those games are bad? And would you think that way when you were a kid? Because I guarantee you, you wouldn't think that way when you were a kid. One of my most hyped for E3-wise this year, Fire Emblem Three Houses. I really want to get my hands on Fire Emblem Three Houses, so I'm pretty hyped to play that. How do you feel about those Nintendo vouchers they're selling now? Hate them. Think they're dumb. I mean, I'm glad they exist. It's better than nothing, but I think they can do it better. When does E3 begin? June 11th is the official start of E3, although press conferences begin on the Sunday before that. So what is that? 11th, 9th is when the press conferences begin. And Nintendo's game tournaments begin on the 8th. So does EA Play, actually begins on the 8th as well. So all depends on what you consider important to start. Like Microsoft's press conferences on Sunday. So a lot of people will view Sunday as the beginning, even though EA Play and Nintendo stuff happened the day before. Sony is skipping E3. EA is not skipping E3. EA is not doing a press conference. EA is instead going to make all of their game announcements through EA Play, which is a place where you can go and play the games, but also a live stream. So basically, they have a Nintendo Treehouse style live stream over 2 days, and they're going to do all their game announcements during those streams rather than having a press conference. So EA is still just as much a part of E3 as usual. They just move their announcements into their Nintendo Treehouse style thing. Is the only difference this year. They're basically trying a new approach because they don't like how people reacted during the press conference to things like the Command and Conquer mobile games. But they feel like if it's in the midst of an EA Play stream, people, that's like, 4 hours one day, 4 hours the next day, people will have less complaints because there's so much content spread out over 8 hours. Which they might be right on that front, to be honest. We won't know until I see what they do. Pikmin 4's wait time can't be as bad as a game that never comes out. YouTubers saying something is dying when it's not even close. That's not a familiar topic. I talked about that with GameStop. They're pretty far away from going under. Yeah, things don't look good. And if it continues to trend this way, sure. I mean, 5, 6, 7 years from now, we could probably start talking about GameStop's doom. But, I mean, they're not even closing stores yet, so that's not that crazy. I mean, come on, look how long Shopko and Sears has been holding on. Let's see. EA is doing their own separate presentation. Yep. We talked about that. Did you hear about the brand new stores Nintendo opened in Canada? Yes, I did. What's up with you? Do you live in Canada? Canada, Sonic Man the best? Because you've been like Canada all day long. It's weird. You usually aren't like that. But yeah, I know about the stores they opened up in Canada. Look at the views during their streams. Best case scenario, they get a few 100,000 viewers at most. Not the millions that trailers get. No one needs E3 to upload a trailer. Oh boy. Okay. I can't teach you this. You need to take a marketing class. I've taken one. You will understand what Nintendo's doing better if you took a marketing class, like Marketing 101 in college. You will learn a lot about why, especially like today's modern marketing. You'll learn a lot about the differences between an event like E3 and just a standalone trailer and how they actually complement each other. But again, you're just looking at you have a very one-sided way of looking at marketing, and you're not looking at how everything builds on top of each other, how it all works together to create a general sense of people wanting to buy something. Yes, a trailer can get more individual views than, like if they dropped a trailer for Metroid Prime 4 tomorrow, right? Like that's probably going to have more individual views on it than anything they do at E3, guaranteed for the most part, unless they have another huge shocking announcement, right? So that's great and that's dandy and all that. But you know what's even better? Having that reveal at E3 with gameplay followed up with the trailer, individual trailer, followed up with a direct. Like, you have to understand marketing. There is a combination effect that creates the most effective way to sell things. Nintendo's been uploading trailers for a decade or more, right? That doesn't always guarantee that the games sell well, right? If you go back and look at some of the old Zelda trailers, they got millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. Some of those trailers have more views than the games ever sold. There is a cumulative effect of marketing and leading to purchasing intent. But again, you have to go take a marketing class to really understand what Nintendo is doing, and that's why it's so brilliant. How they use their directs, how they use E3, how they use trailer, how they're now starting to take better advantage of Twitter and Facebook. Like, Nintendo, their marketing team gets it. They've been getting it really well this generation, like just nailing it. Even pick and choosing when they want to do Super Bowl commercials. Like, the Nintendo, I don't know what happened, but their marketing team just gets it. Sorry, I was texting my fiance. Let's see here. Disney owns a lot of things. Nintendo had a treehouse after their November Smash Direct. Oh my gosh. Again, you need to take a marketing class, man. I don't know what to tell you. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to diminish E3, and that's fine. You could diminish it as much as you want in your mind. I'm just telling you that it's massively important for Nintendo, and you have to take a marketing class to understand. Yes, these things happen. It's all cumulative. Nintendo's marketing strategy is a year-long thing. And E3 is just a big part of that year-long thing. It's part of the pie, not the whole thing. Anyways. Let it go. Gotta let it go, Nate. Gotta learn sometimes to let things go, because we're obviously not going to see eye to eye, so there's no point in continuing to explain something that you're just not going to grasp. At least grasp the way that I view it. Why do I think the amount of good first-party games in the first 2 years of the Switch is far behind every other Nintendo console? I disagree with that so hardcore that I just think you are a hater now. You probably just think I'm a shill. So, I mean, I think you're a hater. You think I'm a shill. Um, the amount of first party games that I absolutely love and have played the hell out of here in the first 2 years of the Nintendo Switch dwarf any other system I've ever touched from Nintendo, and I've owned most of them day one. So, you and I are not going to see eye to eye on that, which was already very apparent when you said earlier that there was hardly any good games on Switch. So, like, and I vehemently disagree with that. So, it's to the point that you just don't like Nintendo, and that it's okay that you don't. I'm okay that you don't like Nintendo, man. Go play the systems you enjoy more. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have the same gaming taste, which is okay. It's fine. Nintendo had a treehouse after their. Yeah, we already read that. Let me see here. With Fox 2000 shutting down MPA rate movie, why I don't know why. God, Sonic Man, you're just bringing up all these things that I just don't care about. I'm sorry, man. Like I'm trying not to be insulting to you, man, but like a lot of the things you're bringing up, I just don't give a crap about. I'm really sorry. I can't even pretend to care. Like I just don't care. um. It's those conferences and game reveals that make E3 more relevant, not the other way around. All right, whatever, man. There's no point in continuing the debate. Hey Nate, did you hear that Brawl Burst MS3 is getting all his music taken down by Nintendo? Don't even know who he is. You're the second person that I think to bring it up to me in the past week. I don't know enough history behind it. I don't know if he's using samples of Nintendo music, which you cannot do. It's against the law. And if he has samples of the music in there, then, I mean, he's going to own the blame with himself. I don't know. I don't know enough about the situation to get involved in it. I'm not a music aficionado. I am not a lawyer. I am not going to get involved in something that I just don't even have a basic understanding of the claim. And the only thing you're going to ever hear is the one-sided thing from Brawl, BRST MS3, because Nintendo doesn't say anything about this stuff publicly. So it's all going to be completely one-sided in how you hear about it. So I'm not going to sit here and dive into it because I don't have a good understanding of why Nintendo's taking out this stuff. And I don't know him. And I don't know what he does. Obviously, it's music related, but I've never even heard of him. So, wait, my dad has an Intellivision, and yet he went on and got you a Genesis and a Game Boy Color. Well, there goes that advantage, yeah. Let me see here. You try to beat 2 games per month? Nice. What am I most hyped for E3 this year? I talked about it already. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. You could parental on it. Parental on what? Oh, yeah, I know. The games that I want my kids to play. I know, but let's just be honest. They'll find a way around it. I did when I was a kid. I mean, literally, I'm not worried about it. My kid, I got good kids. I'm not worried about the couple games they play that like Fire Emblem Warriors. Is it a big deal my kids play that? Not really. But, there's a thing that, I want them to understand real violence from fake violence. And I don't know. I'm probably just being too overprotective because I played violent games when I was a kid. So, let me see here. Still, if the Joy-Cons having problems like that, they would be worse than most Nintendo controllers. I'm not disagreeing with you. If I were a kid now, I would like all the first-party games besides JRPGs. I despise JRPGs, young and old. I would also hate indies, so I'd be less critical as a kid. Exactly. Well, at least you can admit to yourself that, like, as a kid, you just wouldn't give a crap. And you'd like more games. So, I mean, I got to give you some credit, an unbiased Nintendo fan. At least you can self-admit to yourself that you would actually have more fun as a gamer if you were a kid, is basically what you're saying. Nintendo Switch only be $5. You get the same benefits as before. That's not gonna happen. Ever thought about holding a fan event at like the Arlo Plaza? No, because I don't have a big enough fan base, nor can I afford to hold a fan event. So no, that requires renting out space, setting up activities. Like I can't afford it. So nope. And my fan base is too small. And I live in the middle of Wisconsin, where a vast majority of my fan base does not exist. So, it'd be different if, like, I have 45,000 subscribers and they're all from Wisconsin. Like, okay, yeah, I could put together a fan event, but, like, they're not. They're spread all over the world. In fact, hardly anyone in Wisconsin even knows who I am in terms of being a YouTuber. Why are we not talking about pizza at E3? Because we already talked about it a lot. Let's see here. Tiny kiosks in 2 malls. You should make videos at E3 about food and rate it. You could call it Prime Eats. Nope, not doing it. Don't care about that kind of stuff. Have zero passion for making videos about food. I'd rather just eat it and work on my own stuff. Also, he needs to realize that E3 might have a better view count to game purchase ratio than standalone YouTube trailers. Possibly. I'd have to do a lot. I'd have to have access to information that we don't have access to publicly for that. But that is possible. That's a very realistic possibility. I just don't know. That's information that would be held internally at companies, and they would never want to go out publicly because that gives their competitors an edge. So, but yeah, I mean that's always possible too. All we can go off is what Nintendo says publicly, and then what the public numbers say, and blah blah blah. So we're working with incomplete data sets. So, let's see here. Man, my chat. Oh, there we go. However, do you find your child versus adult defense rather weak? I'm like 40, and I can say without a doubt there are a ton of amazing games on Switch, even if you ignored first party. No, I agree with you. The point I was making on the child versus adult argument, it's got nothing to do, like, it's all individual based, right? So, like, for me, I am enjoying more games right now on my Switch than I've enjoyed on any system I've ever owned, right? So then why would I have that argument? That argument is something I bring up for people that always talk about how their childhood was so much better gaming-wise than they were an adult. We've all heard this in our life about how much things were better when I was a kid, how much things were better this, better that, better this. And when I hear people say that about games, I get the mentality. Like, I get why people say it. So, yes, for you think the child versus adult defense is rather weak because for you, nothing changed. But for a lot of people, it does, right? For a lot of people, it does. So, like for me, things have changed with me. There are things I now pay attention to with video games I used to never pay attention to. But I still enjoy video games as much, if not more, than I've ever enjoyed them in my entire life. So, everyone's different. But for the people that generally think everything was so much better when they were a kid, a lot of it is because they care about different things now. They actually think about the money aspect as an example. That's the hugest one that as kids we never really paid much attention to. Let me see here. Admittedly, I don't know much about marketing. I just feel Nintendo and other companies are changing their outlook on E3, given all these online events they're doing, not looking to argue. Yeah, I know. I don't think you're arguing with me anyways. We were having a spirited debate. I just realized the debate hit a point where we're just kind of saying words to each other, and none of it's going to make a difference. That's why I just kind of decided to let it go. There's not really much else to say. because we're not looking at it the same way. You're looking at E3 and its value to you more as a consumer and its relevance to you as a consumer, and trying to extrapolate that relevance to Nintendo and them spreading out announcements throughout the year and yada, yada, yada. Whereas I'm looking at the conversation from a completely different point of view, and that is the overall marketing strategy and how important E3 still is to that marketing strategy. And there is nothing currently happening to suggest to Nintendo, anyways, that they should stop with that marketing strategy. So, like, you know, for you, you're looking at it as it's less relevant for you, and because they do all these other things, it should be less relevant to them too, when that's not actually how Nintendo's treating it. In fact, Nintendo, this is a fact-based, this is a completely unbiased, factual-based statement. Nintendo has placed more importance on E3 than they've ever placed on it in the past. And that might sound crazy. But outside of taking console announcements away from E3, it's kind of true. They do. Like, you can get Treehouse Live out of PAX sometimes, right? Or special occasions after a Direct, you might get a little bit of Treehouse, right? But there's nothing like E3 for Nintendo. And they go, like, all out. It's hard to explain unless you know a lot more of the deeper inner workings of how Nintendo's done E3 the entire time they've been there. But they are more invested in E3 than they've ever been before. And it's insane. Well, where everyone else is looking to cut costs and this and that, Nintendo's like, hell no. We're trying to do what makes the most sense. Like, everyone's like, oh, Nintendo stopped doing the live press conferences that cut costs. No. They stopped doing the live press conferences because they weren't working. They weren't working. Live press conferences, they generally haven't been working for anyone. That's not how people like to consume things. So Nintendo said, we know a better way. And they did it. And they've been executing that forever. Nintendo just changed. They morphed with the times. Everyone else will catch up eventually. It's weird, too, that Nintendo was able to do that, but they can't get their online service right. That's the one thing that's so messed up. How could they be this in tune with marketing, this in tune with the way the internet is changing things, and be so out of touch with how, like, a video game platform should have an online network? It's so baffling how they can be so brilliant in one avenue, but just not get it on the other side. I don't get it. I mean, I get their marketing people are obviously not people that run that infrastructure, obviously, but communicate. The marketing people know what consumers expect because they're the ones that have to sell things to the consumers. But let me see here. I do like Nintendo. I just don't like the Switch a lot. I'm not a hater. I'm just not too fond of the Switch and how Nintendo is right now. That's fine, man. According to Brawl, it's because his music violated the Nintendo YouTube guidelines that came in December. Nintendo's YouTube guidelines are basically you can't use samples of their music. So if he's using samples of their music in his songs, then again, it was illegal before December. Nintendo just wasn't copyright claiming for it because they were focused on gameplay. Had no problems with E3. I hope you understand my limited viewpoint on the thing. It's all right, man. We're all good. We're all good. It's just two opposing viewpoints that are viewing things from different perspectives, and they clash, and it just sounds uglier than it really is. I'm not mad at you. You're not mad at me. It's just we had a spirited debate. I hope it was fun. I think that's what's nice about this channel is like I like to get in these debates with people, and I hope that it's entertaining and the people that are watching and listening in enjoy it. Because I want to be entertaining. I want to have passionate discussions, which is what we had, and I want to be entertaining. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. Excuse me. I suggest you watch the Firefly Funhouse. I love that show. Never heard of it. Maybe I'll look it up sometime. So E3 continues to improve and garner more attention. I do feel like a poor conference, like what Sony had last year, could negatively affect their viewership. Okay. Console reveals are probably better off outside E3, though. This past generation really seems to demonstrate that. Yeah, I think console reveals at E3 have always been kind of weird, and I think they do better as their own kind of event, personally. And I felt that way back when when Iwata was pulling a Wii out of his inside jacket pocket. Like, I'm just like, as cool of a moment as that is, I don't know. It always, like, ever since they started doing them outside of E3, it just feels like the events are better and I'm learning more than like when they tried to make this big deal at E3 about it. But I don't know. That might just be a me thing. I know there's probably millions of people that prefer it the other way. Am I deleting this live stream? Why would I delete it? Nothing controversial's happened. I only really remove live streams if I feel like they have crossed a line that YouTube does not like. And this stream hasn't crossed any lines. What's up, Justin Caldero? Long time no talk. I've been super busy with life. How have I been? Busy too. I'm looking up something here. Hold on. Where's my chat? My chat vanished. Wii was not revealed at E3. That is a lie. The Wii was first discussed during the E3 2004 press conference and unveiled at E3 2005. The controller wasn't unveiled until, let me see here. It says Nintendo first spoke about the Wii console at the E3 2004 press conference and then unveiled it at E3 2005. The controller for it was unveiled at the Tokyo Game Show in September of 2005. So the console itself was unveiled, pulled out of his jacket pocket at E3 2005. The controller was unveiled at the Tokyo Game Show. I can understand why you get confused on it, since most people remember the Wii for the controller, not the system. Anyways. It was not unveiled the week before E3. Here, I'll show you. Let's watch the Wii reveal together. All right. I got the entire Nintendo E3 2005 press conference up. We'll kind of skip through it here. Let me put this up on screen. We'll watch it together. This is kind of a nice visit down memory lane. I remember watching this when I was in high school, or actually it was right before my first semester of college. Actually, let me put this on screen for you here. Display capture. Here we go. Shrink this down a little. I'll shift over. Zoop. All right. We'll full screen this. Turn the volume down a little. Gotta love this beginning of the press conference.
We're serious about expanding what we do.
Get into here.
My name is Iwata.
Oh, Iwata.
I'm about making games.
Here it is.
And I'm about playing games. Last night, I played Super Smash Brothers. That's my game. I kicked some
Nintendo continue to explore
Reggie?
the future of video games. Today, that journey includes details on a new form of gameplay on Nintendo DS. The first meaningful information about Nintendo Revolution, and the latest incarnation of a legend. Yes, I think you know which legend I'm talking about.
This takes me back.
Now, I know many of you today walked in with numbers already all that a great run.
Oh, those are sales, the 2 billion. And
Not. For 2 days, Super Mario 64 changed the game. In the game, going to DS. Evolution. Guess what? They've got company. Global sell-through for when we said we would, and they didn't. Pack and DS should more accurately be.
See, this is the part that about E3,
something that
Nintendo's press conferences that were so lame. All this like data.
New York City. I'm a DJ and Heartbeat.
What's up? Off his final. Please.
Some sounds from the
DJ. Okay.
More creativity. Internet at a distance. Our one connection.
I can't remember at what point it was unveiled. It might be towards the end. That's why I'm skipping through here. Oh, Game Boy Micro. Yep. They unveiled the Game Boy Micro. I remember that. That thing bombed.
Game Boy and new games to play on them. And now you say you want a revolution.
Here you go.
Well,
E3 2005.
we've got one.
There you go. E3 2005. He pulled it out of his pocket. So there you go. It was not. It was not a separate event. It was E3 2005. He literally pulls it out of his jacket pocket. You said we want a revolution. Here it is, and he pulls it out of his pocket. So that was not outside of E3. That was literally E3 2005. This is when he unveiled the Wii. Pulled it right out of his inside pocket on his little suit jacket or whatever. Like that's a moment I don't forget because Wii was such an important part of Nintendo's history. That's why I knew, like, I literally described how it was unveiled before I showed you the video. Like, E3 2005, man. They first mentioned Revolution at E3 2004, and then they unveiled the whole system. The launch, though, in 2006 was April 27, a.k.a. before. What does that have to do? What does that have to do with anything? They unveiled it at E3 2005, and then they unveiled the controller at Tokyo Game Show 2005. Either way, you were. I'm just pointing out that you were wrong about it being unveiled outside of E3. As for the release date, I know when it released in the U.S., but you're wrong on the release date too. Wow. The release date officially was, let's see here. Go to launch here. On September 14th, 2006, Nintendo announced release information for Japan, North, South America, Oceania, Asia, and Europe. So in 2006 in September, it wasn't even out yet. Okay. It was announced that a majority of the 2006 shipments would be allotted to the Americas, along with 33 titles available at launch. The Wii was launched in the United States on November 19th, 2006 for $249.99 and was later launched in the United Kingdom on December 8th, 2006 for 179 pounds. The United Kingdom experienced a widespread shortage of Wii units, blah, blah, blah. The Wii was launched in South Korea in April 26, 2008, Taiwan, July 12, 2008, Hong Kong on December 12, 2009. I'm trying to figure out the Japanese. Did the Japanese release date match the U.S. release date? This one doesn't have the Japanese. Let me look at the Japanese release date. Japan release date. Yeah, it launched on December 2nd of 2006. So you're wrong on that front too. It didn't launch in April. Not even close. November and December, man. I'm like literally, Corey, I'm not trying to like put you on the spot here. Just like you're misremembering is all. The Wii name, launch details, etc. Or the 27. Sure. That's fine. But it wasn't unveiled. It was unveiled at E3. So, looking through the rest of that video. I remember when they unveiled the Wii name too, that people were like, "Why didn't you just call it? Why didn't you just call it the Revolution? Revolution was such a better name than Wii. Wii sounds dumb." Blah 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 blah. God, I remember that whole debate. All right. Let's see here. You're gonna go for the night? Yeah. The stream's probably gonna wind down here. It's been about 2 hours and 40 minutes. Someone is from the Berenstain universe. Dude, I was totally a Berenstain guy, dude. Like, Berenstain, what the hell is Berenstain? It's Berenstain. I swore for years of my life that's what I read as a kid. And I'm like, no, it never was that. Oh, man. It's all right. Corey knows I love him. He just misremembered a few things. He might be right on the April 27th thing. I have no idea. I know that the launch information wasn't given until September, but I wonder what the name. Let me see. It was called Revolution. I was given that name. Okay, E3. Yeah, on April 27th, they announced the name of the system at a pre-E3 event. But they didn't really give many launch details. It says there wasn't really much launch details. Just a couple games. They didn't even have the full launch lineup listed yet. What even? Oh, there was no argument. There's no argument. Corey just tried to tell me I was wrong about when Wii was revealed, but I was right. I think he was just like it might have been just a mix up, and we were talking about different things. I don't know. I love the Wii. Second favorite console next to the GameCube. So many great games on Wii. I mean, there's a lot of great games on Wii. I it's not my favorite. My favorite's SNES, but it's all right. Everyone's got their favorite games and their fond memories and all that great stuff. Oh, the argument in the chat. Who knows? People are debating on personal opinions on video games. So, like, there's no winning personal debates on video games. It's why I don't spend a lot of time like trying to bash into your guys' heads that Breath of the Wild's the greatest game ever made, because that's what it is for me. Like, it's fine. No, you don't have to agree with me. I really don't care. I mean, enjoy what you enjoy. There still isn't any SNES Classic games, no. Oh no! Our total subscriber count fell under 4,500. 45,700. Oh damn! Gosh darn it! Our subscriber count fell during the live stream by like 6. This live stream must be garbage. I'm just kidding. It's all good. Man, we have 57 likes. That's the most likes I think I've had on a live stream in a long time. Look for an email from me later tonight. I'll enter my YouTube name as the subject, Illuma Donkey Kong, so you'll know who it's from. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Go for it. I actually have to clear out some of my emails, anyways. And I'll look for it later tonight. If not, tomorrow morning, if I happen to fall asleep. Let's see here. Greatest game or favorite game? If it's the latter, then that's perfectly understandable. It's both for me. But again, both are subjective. There is no objective greatest game of all time. There is no objective favorite game of all time. Both are subjective opinions. Because how great a game is determined by personal enjoyment of said game. You think the vouchers are a good deal? Vouchers are good in very specific circumstances. Example, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Is that going to be $60? Probably. All right. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Is that going to be $60? Probably. So, you want both. It's July. You plan to get both digitally. Okay, so you're going to be spending $120. Buy the damn vouchers and save $20. Why would you not do that? But for a lot of games that they have listed, you can already get them for $50 and under anyways. Not digitally, but physically. So, like, it's not that great of a deal. They could just do a 17% discount on all Nintendo published games on the eShop across the board and not make you buy vouchers and spend $100. But they don't want to do that. They want to do this voucher system, which is just dumb. So, yeah, take advantage of it when it makes sense to use it, like in the example I gave. But otherwise, it's just dumb. They can make this way less complicated for consumers. Fact, Buck Bumble is objectively the greatest game of all time. You're right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Anytime you talk about how great a game is, or if it's your favorite game, like it's all subjective. So, like, to me, Breath of the Wild is the greatest game ever made. It's also my favorite game. I know a lot of people are going to disagree. It doesn't really matter. You know? It really doesn't matter. I don't think Ocarina of Time is all that. I think it's a good game that is given way too much credit. A lot of people disagree with me. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter. In the end, it doesn't matter. It's all about what you feel, what your thoughts are, how much you enjoy the games, blah, blah, blah. I'd say the closest thing we would have to the greatest game is Tetris, given its simplicity and mass appeal. But like you said, there is no greatest game. I mean, there's no objective greatest game. I mean, you could say Pong is the greatest game ever, right? Because that's what really started modern video games, is Pong, if I remember right. I believe Pong was the originator of what we come to know today as a modern video game. Like, you can go back and talk about the text games and blah, 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 but Pong is what led to, I believe, the modern video game as we know it. So we could argue that's the greatest game ever made, right? Like, whatever determining factor you want to use for what greatest means, you can literally bend it to be anything, you know? There's people that could probably argue Fortnite's the greatest game ever made. Like, it's just... There's no qualifier for what greatest means. It's just... You know, what qualifier do you apply to it, and what game do you think fits that qualifier? So it's all subjective. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say when I said Pong, like I kept thinking, I think there was actually a couple video games before Pong that you could argue were led to what we consider a modern day video game, but obviously Pong was like the one that like made, like it basically popularized what would become modern video games, right? Like it was the idea that stuck, that made modern video games kind of a thing. But it isn't objective yet. I mean, there isn't. There's no way. Like we're just talking about opinions on video games. There's no such thing as like objectives are just facts. Something being the greatest is never a fact. It's always an opinion. So like, ugh. Yeah, season finale. You mean series finale? It's the season finale too, but it's the series finale, the final episode of Game of Thrones, unless there's a spin-off series at some point, which there might be. Who knows? But in terms of the main Game of Thrones series, the final tomorrow. You know I'll be tuning in, or at least watching it after the fact. Cause I think it overlaps. I think with the Bucks game. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for me. I got a couple other things I want to wrap up before I go to bed. Yeah. Oh, hey, what do you guys think of the new set? Haven't really asked anyone. It appeared today on my whatchamacallit, Nate's stuff. And then you'll see it again for the podcast because it was recorded here. So you'll see that on Monday, unless you're a member. Yeah, no, Monday. Yeah, you'll see the video version on Monday. But this is the new primary Nintendo Prime set. I mean, there'll be a few more changes to it, but this is how it stands right now. I mean, I even got lights on the ceiling for this damn thing. See? Light there. That little black thing in the corner is another light on the ceiling. None of those lights are on right now. That's why it's kind of weirdly lit. Obviously, there's the underglow lights that I custom added in. This is a very expensive desk. It's not done. There's more to be done. This will be evolving over the next year as there's more things to be done. But, you get what you can afford and you work with it. And then, you add new additions to it. Maybe someday I'll show you the drawing. I have a drawing of what this set's going to eventually look like when it's all said and done. But got a ways to go. I think a standalone set tour video would be great, but there's nothing. This is it. This is the set. There's nothing else to see. That's it. Like, ta-da! There's the set. There literally is nothing else to see. So, I guess I can show you where the LED light box is underneath the desk. I don't know why that matters. There is nothing else to see. The old set that was back here is over here. The collection set. And that'll still be used for some videos. But there really isn't anything else to see right now. That wall should be purple because purple. The wall will be blue because that's the Nintendo Prime color. There's a few things I got to work on with the lighting too. I noticed it looks great in person when I turn on all the lights, but this camera is having an issue with the lighting, and I don't know. It might just be the lens. I don't know. I gotta play around with the camera to see if I can make it pick up the lighting better than what it's doing. It's kind of washing it out a little bit, which doesn't make any sense. So, but purple. Spawn Wave is purple, man. Looks nice. See you later. Hope you stream soon. Thanks, man. The objectively best game is Big Rigs over the road racing. Whoa, excellent. Yeah, dude. This set, like, I don't know if you guys understand how big this desk is. Like, Guys, this desk is huge. Like, this thing is huge. It's huge. It's huge. And it's really heavy. Like hundreds of pounds heavy. You saw my crack. Congrats. I'm a fat guy with a big crack. It's life. Although perhaps put the MP logo on the front of the desk. Nope. There's a plan. It's just going to be a while before I execute it for the front of the desk. That's just wrong. Nope. No light up logo coming. It will make sense once I it's hard to explain right now, but it will make sense once I finish what's going to happen with the front. There's a reason. Let me put it this way. There is a reason that there is an indent here. There's a reason for that. And no, the desk does not have a crack in it. If that's what you guys are talking about, there is no cracks on the desk. So. What's up, Dustin Hawk? It's not happening. The wall's not going purple. The wall color is not changing. Nice try, though. Is your desk like a WWE table? No, it would have broke with me just being on it. No, it's not like a WWE table. If you tried to, like body slam someone through that table, their back would break and the table would still look brand new. That table is extremely heavy duty. It probably weighs more than I do, to be honest. Dan Holmes, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. I'm hoping E3 is big. I'm hoping for a limited edition Switch bundle for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Luigi Mansion 3 announcement. Yeah, be nice. All right. I gotta find a place to put my VR goggles. They've just been chilling here on top of my computer for like weeks. I really gotta find a better place for those. Maybe I should put them on Pikachu's face back there. Hey Pikachu, you guys tell me how this looks. Pikachu with the VR goggles on. They're probably huge on him. I mean, they're bigger than Pikachu. I mean, cover his whole body. Oh, glow-in-the-dark Joy-Cons would be sick for Luigi's Mansion. I'm hoping it's not like E3 2017 because so many of the games haven't come out yet, like Pokemon Sword and Shield, Metroid Prime 4. Alright. Yeah, Yoshi's over here. Did you see Yoshi? Yoshi's right there. Jumping off the first post sister, about to stomp on a Goomba. You have Toad popping out of the other post sister in a warp pipe. Pikachu's in the middle just saying like, hey, peace. Bullet Bill's just randomly flying through the air. Bomb chasing Mario, who's sprinting across the bricks towards Luigi, who popped up and punched a brick and got the fire flower out. Yoshi! I'm trying to get this back exactly where I had it. I don't know. I should probably mark on the floor where to put the lights for the ideal setup. Because it took me a while to get the ideal setup. Alright. Golden State won. Did they really? I wasn't watching the game. Did they win? Was it even a close game? Nah, it really was. I mean, they won by 11. Steph Curry went off again. Not really surprised. Just like I'm not going to be surprised when the Bucks go up 3-0 tomorrow. Oh, dang it. The Brewers lost today. Dang it, Braves. Dang it, Braves. At least the Cubs lost. Oh, FTC. All right. Bucks the only team that can stop the Warriors. We'll see, man. It's going to be a hell of a... If they both make it to the finals, well, I mean, the Warriors are going to the finals. If the Bucks make it to the finals, God, it's going to be a hell of a finals. I don't know who's going to win. I think it's intense because I think both teams are just screaming excellence. Like, I think the NBA fan deserves Bucks versus Warriors. Kukola hits us with a $10. Oh, man. Thank you for that, man. Let me get a little shot in here for you. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. And he says, are the Mario characters permanently posted to the wall? No. They're wall clings. I actually bought them at Menards. Cheers. No, those are wall clings, so they come off. So when I get more of them, and I want to make a different scene or a different pattern, they're really not that hard to take off, and you can actually reapply them. So, but yeah, no, they're not like a permanent thing because the eventual set, the eventual background is going to be completely different. This is just what it is for now because I got screwed. I'm waiting on a huge refund of a bunch of money, like $300 from this company, because I got screwed on what the original background was going to be. So, can't wait for that to get resolved. Money in the Bank events tomorrow. Nice. Switch needs a good golf game. What, Golf Story's not good enough? I know, like you're probably talking simulation, right? Not Golf Story. Go Cubs and Green Bay Packers. Am I interested in the new wrestling company, AEW? Didn't even know about it. Don't really watch wrestling anymore. I used to watch like WWE, WWF, WCW, that kind of stuff back in the day, but I don't really watch wrestling anymore. So, like, I'm vaguely aware of some of the wrestlers currently in the WWE, but that's because those ones were around when I first stopped watching them, like John Cena, Triple H, Big Show, I think is still in the WWE. I know Ronda Rousey was in the WWE too, but then she's having a kid, so I don't know if she's ever going to come back. I know Undertaker retired like a couple years ago, something like that. Kane's probably still in there, if I remember right. But I mean, a lot of those are old school wrestlers. I honestly don't know any of the newer ones. Like, apparently Roman Reigns is a big deal, and I have no idea who he is, nor do I care. Kane's mayor of Tennessee. Nice. June 7th, Undertaker's fighting Goldberg. Is that legit? God, talk about some old fighters there. Some old wrestlers. Yeah, all right. I'll let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in. It's been 3 hours. I appreciate the support. Shout out to Kukola for the $10 super chat. Also got to give a shout out to, let's see here, the 8th Thark who did a $2 Australian super chat. Thank you so much. And we also had True Dog X who gave us a $2 super chat. Thank you guys. I appreciate that support. You guys are awesome. I'm not sure what video I have going up tomorrow at this point because I haven't recorded it yet. But there should be a video going up tomorrow. Otherwise, let's hope for some news this week, huh? We've had, like, besides the Mario Maker Direct, we have had, like, no news. So let's get some news this week. Because I want to talk about some news, but there's got to be something to talk about. So, all right, later, guys. It was nice chatting with you.